From Foxborough Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, the Miami Dolphins 5-2 leading the AFC East coming in. They're here to take on the New England Patriots 3-4 coming in. Standings in the AFC East there reflecting the almost certain Buffalo victory over Kansas City. A New England win would greatly tighten matters going down the stretch for the second half of the season. I'm Jim Lampley with Todd Christensen.
And Jim, Don Shula has to like the way his club has been playing lately. Dan Marino struggling over the last two games. Nonetheless, at 5-2, he has to like the way the running game and the defense has been going. Consequently, Bill Parcells is a little bit frustrated by the fact that his team 26th in the league in giveaways with 20 at 3-4 feels that their record should be much better than that.
Patriots will get the first chance with the football. One bad piece of news for New England: no great weather advantage in Foxborough today. They'll be playing in Miami-like conditions as November approaches here. Temperature 73 degrees, increasing clouds as the day goes on, but we do not expect rain. So the conditions are ripe, Todd, for a possible shootout to match the one these two teams put together on the first weekend of the year. The springboard toward their present ranking as the number 1 and 2 offensive teams in the league.
Jim, you can see right there, two teams nearly 400 yards per game. We mentioned you and I had the opportunity first game of the season to have the most prolific scoring game in the NFL thus far this year. 39-35. Both quarterbacks threw for over 400 yards, a combined 9 touchdown passes. Certainly there's the potential for that today.
Drew Bledsoe, 421 yards and 4 touchdown passes in the first meeting between these two teams. They had the football and a chance to win the game at the end, but couldn't get it in, leaving victory to that man, Dan Marino, 473 yards and 5 touchdown passes.
And you know, you talked to me yesterday. We talked with Dan Marino, and I mentioned that I thought that was the best single game he had played, considering the fact that he had come off that Achilles tendon surgery, and many people felt like, in fact, it was even mentioned in Miami, the possibility of benching Dan Marino. His effort, as you mentioned, the 470-plus yards, 5 touchdowns, put that to rest.
The Dolphins will kick. Pete Stoyanovich teeing the football up at the 30-yard line, waiting deep for New England. Number 36 is Leroy Thompson, and number 26 is Corey Kroon. So the Patriots will have the football first, and a chance to try to get on the board before Marino first touches the football.
Quite a compliment to Drew Bledsoe, Jim, is the fact that everybody that plays Miami says we've got to do things to keep Marino off the field. Now the scuttlebutt around the league is we've got to do things to keep Drew Bledsoe off the field.
Pete Stoyanovich, game-winning field goal in overtime 2 weeks ago against the Raiders. Dolphins coming off a bye week. In that situation, Don Shula's teams are 5-0 over recent years in the NFL. Thompson with the football gets back to about the 26-yard line before he's brought down by a crew of Dolphins. Ronnie Williams, reserve tight end number 85, first man downfield. New England offensive line. Bruce Armstrong is the primary protector for Drew Bledsoe, who was blindside blitzed into submission by the Jets 2 weeks ago. New England skilled players. Marion Butts, the running back, drew a vote of confidence from Parcells during the bye week, despite the fact he's averaging only 2.8 yards per carry. Leroy Thompson comes in as the third down pass receiving back. Troy Brown is the reserve wide receiver today as the Patriots are hurting at the wideouts. 2 tight ends in the game on first down from the 25. And it's Butts with the ball, and he is met and dropped by the rapidly improving Dolphin run defense. Michael Stewart, number 35, up quickly from his strong safety position. Miami's front 7, Marco Coleman at defensive end, has been the defensive MVP for the Dolphins, at the heart of their improvement against both the run and the pass this year. Troy Vincent starts at left corner. When he's healthy and playing well, as he will expect to be today, they have a pass defense. When he isn't in that situation, they don't. And when the Dolphins go to the dime, Frankie Smith and Tyrone Braxton come on as the 5th and 6th defensive backs. 2-yard gain on first down, 2nd and 8 for Bledsoe in the pass. First throw for Bledsoe is complete down the middle. Terrific catch by number 83, Michael Timpson. And a Patriot first down out to the 42 before Brian Cox made the stop. 15-yard gain.
Jim, it was fairly well documented that Michael Timpson had some problems with Bill Parcells 2 weeks ago. Told to get on the exercise bike, he refused. Had a little bit of an argument, but they definitely Timpson today because of the health factor for the wide receivers. He has to come up big if they're going to beat the Dolphins.
On first down, they again go with 2 tight ends as John Burke, the rookie tight end, is in the game. We'll see a lot of him today as the Patriots try to cover for their injured wide receivers. Butts grinding forward. for a couple. Chris Singleton and Marco Coleman there to make the stop for the Dolphins. It's a gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd down 7.
One of the problems here is the fact that when they go to the 2 tight end offense, everybody on the planet knows that they're trying to run the ball. And this is not the same team that Bill Parcells had in New York. They're not as physically dominant, even though Butts pushes the pile a little bit, as you mentioned. Short game, they're going to have to get out of the 2 tight end offense, because to me, that's a little bit predictable in terms of they're trying to run it.
They go with it again on 2nd down. And Timpson in motion. Bledsoe with protection hits number 87, Ben Coates, and Coates fumbles the football out of bounds as he's hit by J.B. Brown, but it will count as the 52nd catch of the year for the now premier tight end in pro football.
Interesting point here with regards to Ben Coates. Look who has him in coverage. That's the cornerback, J.B. Brown, who has number 87, Ben Coates, showing the speed that he has. Brown does a good job right here at the end to strip the ball, but lucky for Coates, it bounces off the right knee and goes out of bounds, helping his average per catch.
And as I mentioned, the 52nd catch of the year for the AFC's leader in receptions.
Let me make the point here, Jim, that they did bring the ball back. You cannot get extra yardage with a fumbling the ball forward, a la the Dave Casper rule circa 1978. Comes back to the 47-yard line, still a 1st down.
Bledsoe 2 for 2. Double tight end again on 1st and 10. This time, brief play fake. They go with the screen, the box, and he can't handle the ball.
And they had that set up very well. Both tight ends running downfield in a zone defense had that set up. If the ball is caught by Butts, he'd have had some yardage. Take a look at the right of your screen. Pass rush comes. Number 44 is going to sneak over to the left. You can see there are a lot of blue shirts out in front. He does have some yardage if he can hold on, but he can't.
And in 2nd and 10, the Patriots will go to a conventional set. 1 tight end of the game, that's Coates. And Ray Crittenden comes on to join Timpson at wide receiver. Both wide receivers to the top of the screen. Bledsoe's pass is batted into the air and almost caught by Coates.
Drew Bledsoe is looking right at Ben Coates the entire time, and there were 3 different Dolphins surrounding him. Drew Bledsoe, if he wants to get the ball, take a look at the snap ball, but he's looking right at Ben Coates. Goes out to the fight. Now take a look at all the white shirts that are there. They have them in bracket coverage. See that 3 different white shirts are in the area.
And that's Jeff Cross, who got a hand on the football. Dolphins have gotten an increasingly active pass rush in recent weeks. Leroy Thompson in the game on 3rd down. Patriots are about 40% in converting 3rd downs this year. Bledsoe chased, and Cross will get credit for running him out of bounds. Well short of a 1st down, so it will bring up a punting situation for the Patriots on 4th down, 10 yards to go, just inside Dolphin territory.
And this is where Drew Bledsoe is looking. He's got Ben Coates on the crossing route, but he ends up getting knocked down. Look at Singleton hit him clearly beyond the 5-yard marker. Something the officials missed. You can see Bledsoe right there complaining about it, because as he rolled out right, he couldn't see Coates because he was flat on his back. Good play by Singleton, especially if you can get away with it.
Credit Cross with the sack. Pat O'Neill comes on to punt it away for the Patriots. O.J. McDuffie waiting at his 10-yard line. McDuffie comes forward and makes a fair catch. Under pressure at the 15. It'll be the Dolphins' ball there on their first possession when we come back. Back to the season opener in Joe Robbie Stadium, September 4th, 3:25 to go, 4th down for the Dolphins. Marino out of the gun. He's been deadly today. Open touchdown, Irving Fryer. Irving Fryer's 6th catch, 3rd touchdown on the way to a 211-yard receiving 2nd half was the game winner in the Dolphins' 39-35 victory over Bledsoe and the Patriots.
And talk about a guy who's in love with his arm, Jim. I still can't believe that when I see it. A 4th down play instead of a basic short little hook or a swing pass or something like that. He goes with the up and puts it right on the money.
On 1st down, the Dolphins give to newfound running star Bernie Parmalee 150 yards 2 weeks ago in 30 carries against the Raiders. And he starts off here with a gain of about 4. Miami offensive line, Burt Widener coming off an injured ankle. They don't know exactly how far he can go, but he starts. Backs and receivers for Miami, a bushel of 1st-round draft choices there, and Parmalee, the free agent, is the key with the newly rejuvenated running game. O.J. McDuffie, number 81, comes onto the field to join Ingram and Fryer when they go to 3 wide receivers. On second down, Marino's throw intended for Keith Jackson is incomplete. Chris Slade, number 53, there to defend for the Patriots. New England's front seven, and Slade is the key to the pass rush. Best all-around athlete in that group. He has 5 sacks on the year coming in. Maurice Hurst, star corner, best cover guy, badly embarrassed by Fryer in the opening game of the year, must play better today. And when they go to the dime, Ricky Reynolds, acquired in the offseason from Tampa Bay, and Corwin Brown are the 5th and 6th defensive backs. Now the Dolphins with third down, 7 yards to go. O.J. McDuffie on as the third wide receiver. This team converts 47% of its third downs because of that kind of passing accuracy, but a good play by Guyton, who drags Jackson out of bounds short of the first down marker.
Short of the first down, but they're going to get him for tackling him out of bounds. I don't know about this call. Inevitably, what you see at the end of the play is the guy pushing the guy out of bounds. They're going to call him for unnecessary roughness because he pushes him so far out of bounds. I'm not sure about this.
You got a free safety wrestling with a big tight end, and he can't have the advantage of taking him all the way across the sideline.
Personal foul for a late hit, unsportsmanlike conduct, out of bounds. We'll tack 15 yards on from the end of the run, first down.
And this is the sort of thing that has to frustrate Bill Parcells. They play the good defense, get the short route, take a look at the end. Guyton's riding him out of bounds. Remember, this is a big man. He wants to make sure that he can't get loose. Now, how far are they out of bounds? Right there, he should have let him go. And in fact, he does. This is what the official, right here, does he throw him down or does he let him go? It's completely out of bounds. That's the sort of thing that's a little bit ticky-tack. You got to let that go.
We welcome those of you who have been watching Buffalo's resounding 44-10 victory over Kansas City. You're in Foxborough Stadium. Early first quarter, no score. First down 10 for the Dolphins after having picked up their first down of the game. And running back Bermany Parmalee has a gain of a couple. It'll be second down. Let's visit Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, and we'll take you to Indy, where Don Majkowski, making his first start since early in 1992, has taken the Colts to a touchdown. Off the play action, 14 yards to Floyd Turner. The extra point makes it 7-0. Indy over the Jets, Jim.
Jim, a little bit of the magic of 1989. Remember we used the Magic Man leading the Packers 10-6 Pro Bowl quarterback? Looks like we still do it.
Interesting decision this week by Ted Marchibroda to start Majkowski over Jim Harbaugh. On second down, Keith Byers is dropped in the flat on a terrific tackle by Rod Smith.
That's the 111th straight game for a catch from Keith Byers, but pretty nondescript there. Good defense preventing a short game.
And now, with the Dolphins facing third down 4, McDuffie will come on, and they'll go to the 3 wide receiver set. Rod Smith, third-year man out of Notre Dame, has taken over the left corner job, which expected to see Ricky Reynolds in place there, and he made a terrific play there to stop Byers after a short game. Byers comes off.
There's the number that we mentioned, very impressive considering the fact that no running back in the NFL history other than Byers has gone over 100.
Marino using all of the play clock, and it's picked off. An ill-chosen throw, and number 42, the strong safety, Harlan Barnett, got in front of the receiver, and he'll take the ball to the sideline. Uncharacteristic decision by one of the league's greatest and most experienced quarterbacks. Marino's throw right into the hands of Harlan Barnett. We'll be back.
Harlan Barnett with that pick, as you mentioned, only the 7th of the year for Dan Marino, Jim, but he was absolutely the right place, and I don't think Marino even saw him.
Pass was intended for O.J. McDuffie, the third wideout. Interesting coverage with the strong safety locked up on him. On first down, Marion Butts gets the call and shows the kind of leg drive that Patriots fans have been looking for all year, and it was not Butts, it was Kevin Turner. My mistake.
Harlan Barnett is what we call robber position. He plays the third linebacker. He's basically in this situation looking at the quarterback. He doesn't have a specific man. So when O.J. McDuffie sets down in that area, he's looking at the quarterback. Right there, he turns right out. Marino doesn't see him, assuming that he's going to take the hook zone. A costly mistake on the part of Marino, setting up New England with a turnover.
At the Dolphin 40, after a gain of 5 by Kevin Turner on first down, it's second down 5. Here's Butts. And there's the leg drive, and he has first down yardage inside the 35 to the 33 before Cox and Beavers made the stop for the Dolphins.
Jim, as I mentioned earlier, when they went out of the two tight end set, take a look at how it spreads people out. With the two tight ends, the backers are able to jam into the gaps. With two wide receivers, they can only go up with a 7 or an 8-man front. That spreads people out, gives the offensive line the chance to fire off and make their blocks as they did on that play.
Bill Parcells told us he had a film made of all 102 of Butts' carries this year and determined he'd been hit behind the line of scrimmage on 23 of them. On first down here, Turner again gets the call, and Jeff Cross wraps him up after a gain of perhaps a yard.
And that's really significant because Marion Butts is the kind of runner that has to get started. You remember back when he was with the Chargers, Pro Bowl running back in 1990 and I believe 92, over 1,200 yards. The thing that he was able to do is once he breaks through the line, you're looking at 250 pounds with 4.55 speed. But if he can't get started, he can't go anyplace. He's not nifty like a Smith or a Sanders. He has to have a gap.
Second down, long yardage. Conventional set, and Bob Cratch, number 61, was the offensive player involved. Chuck Klingbeil, who gets a quick start for the Dolphins, came across.
False start, 61, offense, prior to the snap, 5 yards, still second down.
Doug Skeen, the starter, out with the year with an injury. Cratch, of course, with Parcells in New York, starting just a little bit early.
Cratch picked up as a free agent in the offseason as Parcells looked to upgrade the offensive line, and now it will be second down 14. The ball is at the 37. They need to get it to the 22 for a first down. Turner again. And the third-year fullback out of Alabama has a good gain down near the 30-yard line. Brian Cox with the stop for the Dolphins. Good block out front, this time by Marion Butts.
Take a look at the wide receiver blocking here to the right of your screen. These might not be the receivers that they wanted to catch the ball, but look at the blocking by Crittenden right there in the face of J.B. Brown, allowing Turner to cut up the field and get the extra yardage. That is a really undervalued skill for wide receivers, and I genuinely think that, Jim, the tandem of Taylor and Rice in San Francisco, they're always talking about how well they catch the ball. They block well, too.
Thompson in the game at tailback on third down. Bledsoe throws down the middle, and Turner cannot hold on. Aubrey Beavers was there on the coverage for the Dolphins.
Now, this brings up an interesting decision because they're at the 30-yard line. A 47-yard field goal is right at the limit of Matt Barr's range, but evidently Parcells has enough confidence in him to give it a shot.
So Scott Zolak will come on to hold. Steve Diassi snaps, and you see the numbers on Matt Barr for the season.
So this will be 5 yards longer than what he has had this season.
They put it down at the 38. It's a 48-yard try for Barr. He got it through the uprights. An early potential good omen for the Pats. They lead 3-0. Back in Foxborough, Todd, Bill Parcells makes no secret of the fact that he plays favorites among players. This has got to be one of his all-time favorites.
Well, certainly harken back to the after the 1990 season, NFC Championship game against San Francisco, 5 field goals, the game winner with less than 5 seconds there in Candlestick Park. He really does like Matt Barr. Talk about a pretty good gig. All you do is come in and kick extra points and field goals. I'm jealous because he's 3 months older than I am.
O.J. McDuffie and Irving spikes. This will be McDuffie from the 5-yard line off Pat O'Neill's kickoff for the Patriots. He gets it out to the 21. Dolphins will start their second possession from there. Marty Moore downfield on the tackle for the Patriots. Next Sunday, NBC presents the most anticipated event of the television season, the 2-hour series premiere of Earth 2. The year, Todd, is 2192. The Earth is dying, and man must voyage across the universe to colonize a new Earth. It's the adventure of a lifetime, Earth 2, next Sunday at 7, 6 Central, here on NBC. First down for the Dolphins from the 21. Parmalee and Byers are the setbacks behind Dan Marino. Down the middle, good throw. Irving Fryar couldn't hold on.
Great effort, though, by Vincent Brown on the dive to distract Irving Fryer, and I think that's the reason he didn't catch the ball. Take a look at Fryer, and watch to the right of your screen at the end. He runs the deep in route. Watch come flying in Vincent Brown right there. That distracted him just enough. Tremendous effort by the inside backer, number 59. 46 tackles leading the league, but also showing that he can come in and cover as well.
Slow start for Marino, 2 of 5 so far in the game, 10 yards, 1 interception that ended the Dolphins' first possession. 2nd down 10. All the time in the world, and Marino finally must dump it off to Jackson, who has a gain of about 6 yards before Dwayne Sabb made the stop for New England. Good coverage from the Patriots secondary that time.
After the bye week, Miami has been extremely successful. You see they're undefeated. This is when the bye was instituted during 1990. New England not quite as much, 2-3. So Shula's very happy with the preparation he's had over the last 2 weeks with this Miami club.
5 defensive backs on the field now for the Patriots. And Willie McGinnis, number 55, the first-round draft choice out of Southern Cal, comes on to rush the passer for the first time. Marino gives to Bernie Parmalee. He fumbles the football. And it would appear to be Patriot ball as Rod Smith is there. McGinnis. Smith made the hit, and McGinnis got the football, Todd.
That's exactly right. It appeared to me that Parmalee really had a pretty good hole working. Watch to the middle of your screen. He just bobbles it right there. He gets a little bit up by the shoulder pads. He was lucky that it bounced back to him. Smith makes the stick, and he was lucky there. His helmet actually knocked the ball back into the crook of his elbow. A little bit of a break there for the Dolphins.
All right, so no fumble loss. Instead, it is 4th down for the Dolphins, and Jim Arnold comes on to kick it away. Arnold standing inside his 15 at the 13, and deep to receive for the Patriots is number 86, Troy Brown. Arnold's punt very high. Brown calls for a fair catch, backs up to his 31 to make it. And the Patriots will have the football, leading 3-0 after a 42-yard punt.
Drew Bledsoe having an outstanding season. He is on pace to break some records. Take a look at this. When Dan Marino threw for over 5,000 in 1984, everybody was shocked. Now at the pace that Bledsoe is going, he's got a shot at nearly 5,300. Now that's a mixed blessing, and later when we get a chance to show you an interview we had with Bill Parcells, he will mention that. But even though it is exciting and Bledsoe likes the opportunity to throw as much as he does, they want to integrate some more balance.
Bledsoe also stands to break the record for attempts if he continues at his present pace, threaten the record for completions, and perhaps break that one too. But untouchable would appear to be Marino's record of 48 touchdown passes. Blitz on first down, big yardage. Across the 40 to the 45-yard line, Chris Singleton finally runs him out of bounds, a 15-yard gain. One of the better moments of the year for the newly acquired Patriot running back.
Take a look at Kevin Turner, the fullback, number 34, with the lead block. Watch number 34 on J.B. Brown just take his legs out completely, and that's the gap that enables Butts to get to the outside. As I mentioned, 4.55 speed. Chris Singleton with a little bit of a hand on the face mask, but not enough to warrant a flag. Good non-call by the officials.
So Coates straightening up Aubrey Beavers, too. It's first down from just inside the 45-yard line. And this time, the Dolphins get penetration against Butts and drop him for a loss. Tim Bowens, number 95, the new mainstay of the Dolphin run defense. First-round draft choice out of Mississippi coming along to make the hit. And there's a look at Bernie Parmalee, who we are told sustained a dislocated thumb on that last possession when mishandling the football and expects to be back anyway.
And take a look at the possibility next series or later on in the quarter to see Cleveland Gary, former 1,000-yard rusher for the LA Rams, get integrated into the mix.
Second down 14 after Butts' loss of 4 on first down.
I don't know what the count is doing to Bob Cratch, but he is really struggling now. That's twice in the last 2 series that he's jumped.
61 offense, fire the snap, 5 yards, still second down.
That's going to make it second down 19.
A little bit of a flex. Watch number 61. There's the flinch. Just can't do it. Klingbeil heads up and pushing him back.
So the line of scrimmage is now the 35-yard line. They need to get it to the 46 of the Dolphins to pick up a first down. Bledsoe throwing, and and gets it to number 83, Michael Timpson. Timpson across the 45. Gets back about half of the yardage they need. Troy Vincent makes the stop after the 11-yard gain.
Well, as we mentioned, Timpson's going to have to come up with a big game because Miami is going to do some different things with regards to Ben Coates in coverage. Nice hook route. Vincent is the one that stumbles just a little bit, enabling Timpson to have the gap and make the catch.
Dolphins shuffling defensive linemen bring Veazey and Webster into the game on 3rd down. They need 8 for a first down as Bledsoe works from his 46. Leroy Thompson went in motion from the running back position. And now Bledsoe out of the pocket. And he's going to come down short of the marker. J.B. Brown coming up from his right corner position to shut off the running lane for Bledsoe.
And Bledsoe doing a little trash talking with J.B. Brown. Bledsoe doesn't slide. He doesn't go down because he thinks he has a shot at the first down. Unfortunately for him, it was a hook route, and J.B. Brown was short of the first down. He can't decide to slide. Now he cuts back to the inside. Brown upends him, knocks him down, and there, right at the end there, you can see Webster with the left hand on the head. That's something that Bledsoe didn't appreciate.
Pat O'Neill comes on to punt for New England. O.J. McDuffie in deep formation. Now the Patriots come back into offensive formation. On 4th down, 2 yards to go. Scott Zolak is suddenly
not going to get it off in time, Jim. They're not going to get it off. It was a great idea, but they didn't get it off. Scott Zolak under center. Now they're forced to move back and kick it anyway. Bill Parcells is famous for this when he's with the Giants. He had a lot of 4th down conversions.
5 yards, still 4th down.
They shifted a little bit too late.
You think they really wanted to run a play, or were they trying to get the Dolphins to jump?
Well, either way, it's interesting, and it keeps people paying attention because next time when that comes up, more than likely the Dolphins are thinking they're crying wolf, could be back on their heels, and they could go for it then.
O'Neill's thinking, well, now, I was a tailback. I just missed a chance for my first carry.
Absolutely right.
McDuffie is at his 12-yard line, and now O'Neill stands inside his 35. Out of Syracuse puts the foot to the ball.
Good kick.
O.J. stands still, takes it at the 12. Good coverage, and McDuffie can't get away. Dolphins will be pinned at their 15. Corwin Brown downfield, number 30 to make the stop. A 40-yard punt, well placed by O'Neill. 3-yard return for McDuffie.
Both of us have talked about, Jim, the fact that this could turn into another shootout, and there you see total offense and pass offense at the top for both teams in the National Football League. Now take on the flip side of it, defensively, 25th and 27th in total defense, 26th and 27th in pass defense, and if you believe in omens, that would certainly bode for a shootout today.
As the Dolphins begin their 3rd possession now with 1:41 to go in the first quarter at their 15-yard line. Parmalee is out, and Irving Spikes, number 40, is in the game at tailback. And here's his first carry, and a terrific play coming across by Todd Collins from his inside linebacker position.
Todd Collins just decided to shoot the gap, and he comes completely untouched. He's just going to shoot the gap, and they don't pick him up. Number 54. Nothing Irving Spikes can do about that. That's got to be frustrating with your first carry of the game, but Collins guessed right.
And on 2nd down now, after the loss of 4, 2nd and 14, Parmalee comes back into the game, and Spikes goes out at tailback. Marino from his own 11. Almost picked off by Vincent Brown. Keith Jackson, the intended receiver, and Brown might have cost himself a touchdown by failing to hold on.
You see Dan Marino pointing to himself. I think he thought that Keith Jackson was going to turn back to the outside. Instead, Jackson makes the little bit of a move to the out, comes back in, and Marino throws it right into the chest of Vincent Brown, who could not hold on.
Brown, a terrific tackler against the running game. Here's another look at his coverage inside against Jackson. 3 wide receivers in the game for the Dolphins now on 3rd and 14. McGinnis in to rush for New England against the blitz. Marino lays it out there, and no one is home. Closest man to the football was Rod Smith. Patriots defense surprisingly effective in the first quarter, helped by good field position.
And Jim, that man is making all the right calls so far. Al Groh with that blitz completely surprised Marino. He just had to get rid of it. They're coming up with different combinations in the same series. They come with 7 guys, rush 3, come back with 8. Al Groh is doing everything he can to disconcert Marino early in the game, and as you mentioned, so far so effective.
Arnold from his own end zone. Troy Brown deep to receive for New England. Excellent kick. Brown takes it at his 38 and gets across the 50 to the Miami 49-yard line. It was Ronnie Williams again downfield to make the stop. A 51-yard punt for Arnold, but a 13-yard return for the newly re-signed return man, Troy Brown.
And there's a Brown right there, number 59, Vincent Brown, who's thinking to himself, man, I had a really good shot at getting that pick. Number 59, you can take a look at the arms on that man. He was voted best body in the National Football League by, I believe it was
Joe Weider's Muscle and Fitness magazine. Chose Vincent Brown as the body beautiful of the NFL. 1st and 10 for the Patriots at the 49. The give is to Turner, the fullback, and there's no room. It's going to be 2nd and long after a good play by Brian Cox from his increasingly familiar middle linebacker position.
And the reason that they haven't moved him outside, because Dwight Hollier is healthy and they can certainly get him back outside, but what they like about what Brian Cox has done for this team is create some real leadership, calling defensive signals and really controlling the tempo and emotion of the team on the field.
Patriots going with a normal set. 2 wide receivers, Crittenden and Timpson, both in the game. First quarter running down inside 10 seconds now. And continuing a pattern of slow starts for the Dolphins. I'll get to that in a moment. Bledsoe gets rid of the football as he's chased by a blitzing Brian Cox. And the first quarter comes to a close with the Patriots leading 3-0. The Dolphins have been outscored 38-6 in the first quarter this year. Pattern continues. Kind of surprised to see my senior prom date from Southwest Miami High School, spring of 1966, here in the ballpark today, and all of her closest friends as well. As we come back, second quarter begins. Patriots, 3rd down 10, ball at the Dolphin 49-yard line. Bledsoe and Marino both off to relatively slow starts today, but on this play, Bledsoe completes in the flat to Kevin Turner. He's dragged down well short of the first down by Troy Vincent and Michael Stewart.
Well, Michael Stewart is somebody who took a lot of abuse early in the season, Jim, for some very ineffective play. A lot of that was injury, but that's a good open field tackle, not enabling Turner to break a tackle and possibly get the first down.
And Pat O'Neill will come on to kick again for New England as O.J. McDuffie again goes deep for Miami. McDuffie at his 10. O'Neill at his own 40 as he awaits the snap. A field goal only in the first quarter, 48-yarder by Matt Barr. 3-0 New England. O'Neill's kick high enough to force McDuffie to call for a fair catch. It'll be Dolphin football at the 9, 35-yard punt. New England leads. Darkness gathering over Foxborough Stadium as we approach 5 o'clock. New England early in the second quarter leading Miami 3-0. Dolphins begin their 4th possession of the game at their 9-yard line. So far on the 4 possessions, Miami's average starting point is its own 15. Tony Parmalee back in the game at running back on first down. Marino throws complete to Keith Jackson. And Jackson has some running room for first down yardage before he's knocked out of bounds by Rod Smith. 12-yard gain. Let's go down to the field to Will McDonough. Willie.
Okay, Jim, I talked with Al Groh, the Patriots defensive coordinator, before the game, and his plan seems to be working good so far. He said they were going to concentrate on doubling up on the Miami wide receivers, try to take them out of the game, but more so, the word you're talking about, blitz. They were going to blitz Marino, and nobody dares to blitz Marino. Back to you, Jim.
All right, thanks very much, Will. We go back to Will for a little personal story a little bit later on. On first down 10, after the Marino first down completion to Jackson, the give is to Parmalee, and Parmalee has a gain of about 8 yards. Pretty good job following blockers before Vincent Brown made the tackle for the Patriots.
One of the great human interest stories of the year has to be Bernie Parmalee 3 years ago working in a UPS office, and of course special teams primarily until 2 weeks ago against the Los Angeles Raiders when he had 150 yards on 30 carries. Really establishing himself in that game as an excellent running back. I guess the big question, Jim, is whether or not 2 weeks ago was an aberration or if it's something Parmalee can continue.
After the gain of 9 on first down, Parmalee this time has 4 more and another Dolphin first down. Again, Vincent Brown with the tackle. Don Shula on the subject of Bernie Parmalee, who is his team's special teams captain. Shula gave Parmalee 2 game balls for the Raider game, offense and special teams, and said that he had never, ever done that with an individual player before.
And during my playing career with the Raiders, I don't recall it ever happening either. It's amazing.
Marino's throw, intended for Irving Fryer, a little short, and Rod Smith there on the coverage for the Patriots.
Dan Marino just a little bit short coming with the rush. He has the time. Shortens it just a little bit, but of course Fryer was slipping coming out of the break.
Dwayne Sabb at his ankles, checking Marino's shoe size. Incompletion, second down 10. Marino 4 for 10 for 27 yards with 1 interception. Ball at the 36. This is Jackson again. Chris Slade is there on the coverage for the Patriots. It's a gain of about 9. It'll be third down and short.
I'm not surprised at all they're going to the shotgun early. Remember, that's how effective, that's what made Dan Marino more effective in the first game. Man-for-man coverage, Slade and Jackson. That's a mismatch. Pushes him back to the outside. Slade makes the tackle before he can come up with the first down. But New England cannot afford a steady diet of linebackers on Pete Jackson today to be successful.
Double tight ends, Jackson and Ronnie Williams both in the game on third down 1 for Miami.
Great time for play action. Marino does this so well in short yardage situations.
The fake to Byers. Good call, Todd. Fryer with the catch inside the New England 30. Myron Guyton is there, and they're going to call it a completion. 26 yards, Marino to Fryer.
Well, remember early in the game, Irving Fryer dropped a hook route. Play action fake. He runs what's called a flag route, which is the flag to the opposite end of the field, turning Guyton around completely, lays out. What a fabulous catch by Irving Fryer.
He was the first player taken in the draft when the Patriots picked him back in 1984. Now in his second year with the Dolphins, Irving may be playing the best football of his career. Marino wants to throw again on first down, and this time the receiver goes downfield. Danny was looking for an out cut, and he threw it out of bounds. Let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, in Los Angeles, the Raiders scored the first time they had the ball, capping the drive. Harvey Williams from 2 yards out. They have gone to the second quarter now, and L.A. leads the Oilers 7-0. Jim and Todd?
Interesting the graphic there with regards to Harvey Williams. 10 rushes for 47 yards. Last week, he had over 100 yards against the Atlanta Falcons. And a lot of people were talking about how the Raiders were down because of their inability to run the ball. I'm surprised. Williams is really asserting himself, Jim.
Trying to assert himself here for the Dolphins is the East Coast equivalent of Harvey Williams, at least in terms of a rejuvenated running game. Bernie Parmalee doing for Miami what Williams is trying to do for the Raiders. Dwayne Sabb there to make the stop for New England. It's going to bring up third down, 8 yards to go. Willie McGinnis in the game again, probably for pass rushing duty against Marino. Ninth play of the drive that started at the Dolphin 10. Double coverage for Fryer, and Marino threw it past him.
2 flags in the middle. 2 people saw the same thing. Now this tripping brings up an interesting point, Jim. You're at the 27-yard line. Now, do you want to move him back to the 37, maybe force a 54-yard field goal, but that means you give Marino another opportunity? Or do you refuse it and make it 4th down and give him a chance at a 45-yard field goal, which by Stoyanovich standards, very makeable?
Which would you choose?
I make him kick the field goal. I don't want to give Marino another shot at it.
I think Parcells agrees.
Tripping. Number 60, offense. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Call was against Bert Widener, who, as we mentioned at the top, is coming back from an ankle injury today.
Right here at the bottom, you can see the trip. He sticks out the leg and tries to get him. We mentioned that he had some ankle problems coming into the game, and you can see his footing was not very good there. As a result, he had to attempt the trip, and both the umpire and the referee saw it.
Stojanovich's try will be from 45 yards. Jeff Dellenbach snaps. Jim Arnold, the punter, is the holder. Stoyanovich 8 of 12 on the year. And the league-wide percentage beyond 40 yards is low. But this one's good. As Stoyanovich nails it from 45 to tie the football game 3 apiece, 10:18 to go in halftime. We are back in Foxborough Stadium. Jim Lampley along with Todd Christensen. 10:18 to go in the second quarter. The Dolphins having just tied up New England at 3 apiece on Pete Stojanovich's 45-yard field goal. Now Stoyanovich will kick it off from his 30. Corey Kroom, 26, and Leroy Thompson, 36. Deep to receive for New England.
And I think I'm a little bit surprised. You know, you and I had anticipated the possibility of another shootout. Now here we are, 10:18 remaining in the half. Score tied at 3. Obviously, this 2 weeks was spent hearing their defenses for this very game, and as a result, it's a lot tighter contest. I don't think anybody had anticipated.
I think both defensive coordinators, Tom Olivadotti and Al Groh, took it as a personal challenge to see to it that this was not a repeat of September 4. This is Thompson. And the former Penn State running back is knocked out of bounds just across the 20-yard line. Quickly, let's check in with Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, in Denver, John Elway on the move to the right side. When things get a little tense, 1-yard touchdown pass to Jerry Evans. Matt Stover has a field goal for Cleveland. They're into the second quarter now. The Broncos leading the Browns 7-3. Jim, back to you.
I think it's interesting, Jim, that here is a situation where you've got Cleveland 6-1. 6-1 going into Denver 2-5, and Cleveland's still an underdog. Clearly, people do not respect what Cleveland has done thus far.
And they have a little respect for Mile High Stadium, despite what the Broncos have done there. New running backs in the game for New England. Blair Thomas, number 32, comes onto the field at tailback for the first time. Sam Gash will block in front of him as the fullback, and on first down, Thomas, with his first carry of the game, has about a 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 6. Brian Cox with the tackle.
Well, 2 weeks ago against the Jets, Blair Thomas had around 70 yards and went in for a touchdown. And when we talked with Bill Parcells yesterday, he mentioned the fact that Thomas was going to get a fair share of carries today.
On 2nd and 6, they fake to Thomas. Bledsoe down the middle looking for Coates. It's picked off by number 28, Gene Atkins. Making more and more big plays from his free safety position for the Dolphins, and Bledsoe would like to have that one back.
There's no doubt about it. Nice play action fake. He just overthrew Coates in that situation. Atkins with a nice catch. Gene Atkins, of course, former free safety for the New Orleans Saints. Coates not wide open there. Give Cox credit for the one who cuts in front, takes Coates out of the play. He loses his vision, does not continue to run, actually cuts off the path of Ben Coates. Atkins, Johnny on the spot with his hands underneath the ball. Great catch by number 28.
And the 21st turnover of the season for the Patriots. The 12th interception this year thrown by Drew Bledsoe. First down Dolphins. A rare piece of good field position at midfield. Bernie Parmalee shows his ability to cut back inside. Myron Guyton makes the stop after a gain of about 5. It'll be 2nd down 5.
And that 12th interception, as you mentioned, Jim, that is another category, unfortunately, for Drew Bledsoe that he leads the National Football League in. 21 giveaways, as you mentioned now, for the Patriots, and that is just driving Bill Parcells crazy.
Bledsoe now 4 of 9, 40 yards, 1 pick in the game. Those numbers not too dissimilar from those put up so far by Dan Marino. On 2nd and 5, Marino steps away from the rush, sees the flag goes down, and then throws to Keith Jackson for a completion and a potential first down, depending on the penalty call. Vincent Brown was there for the Patriots.
They didn't even wait for Jackson to get touched. It was such an automatic holding call when the referee threw it. They didn't even bother to wait.
60 offense, 10 yards, still second down.
And there's Widener, the fifth-year player out of Kent State, coming back from an ankle injury this week. Second call of the game against Burt.
Jackson comes out from his tight end position. Brown pushes him out, then he comes back to the inside. Brown falls down. Now watch at the end of the play. Now Brown hustles over. Watch number 60, your right guard, coming inside. Take a look at, yeah, he's got a stranglehold right there. Good call by the official with his arm around his neck.
Holding on to Mike Pitts. Marino again. This time it's number 41, Keith Byers, and Byers breaks 2 tackles. To move past the chain, Guyton and Brown were there. 19-yard gain for the Dolphins.
Illegal shift on the offensive team. A man moved up to the line of scrimmage. The other one moved back, and they did not stop for 1 second. 5 yards, repeat second down.
So that's 2 completions in a row wiped out by penalties. The Dolphins, traditionally under Shula, least penalized team in the league.
And Shula doesn't agree, as you can see. Even at the age of 64, he can still be very animated. He certainly tries to intimidate the officials where that's concerned. Take a look at the movement. Okay, man steps back. Now here's Jackson, and moved up. Now the man's in motion. Good call by the official. Absolutely right. Fryer was not set when Jackson went in motion. The official was right on top of it.
What was once 2nd and 5 now becomes 2nd down 20. Marino complete to Byers, and Byers has the first down across the New England 40 to the 39-yard line before he was chased out of bounds by Harlan Barnett. And you saw there a glimpse into the enormous value of the ultra-versatile Keith Byers.
Well, my midseason All-Pro team, I have Keith Byers as the fullback, and this is one of the reasons. Now, this is his 42nd catch of the season. Gets by the 1 tackle of Collins, cuts to the outside. People forget that this is a man that was a 1,500-yard rusher at Ohio State and from the tailback position. But that's the sort of thing that he's been doing for years with both the Eagles and the Dolphins.
21-yard pickup on the pass from Marino to Byers. First down, Dolphins at the 39. Parmalee. Stacked up. Todd Collins will ultimately get credit for the tackle. And once again, we check in with Greg Gumbel in New York. Regular.
All right, Jim, out in San Diego, Chris Warren gets the Seattle Seahawks on the board first. 9-yard burst right up the middle and into the end zone. With the extra point, the Seahawks lead the San Diego Chargers 7-0 in the second. Jim and Todd.
The second quarter.
All right, thanks a lot, Greg. And Chris Warren and the Seahawks looking for a little revenge after having been beaten earlier in the season by the Chargers up at Husky Stadium.
Not the fact that they want to stop a 3-game losing streak.
Ricky Reynolds in the game replacing Rod Smith at corner. Reynolds on a blitz that time. And the Patriots get away with it as Marino makes the completion to Fryer, but Barnett and Collins react quickly to make the stop.
Now this brings up an interesting point here on 3rd down. Al Groh, defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, said this is where we really have to establish ourselves in 3rd down. You see Barnett come up, go over the top, doesn't bring Fryer down, but puts him off balance enough for Collins to come over and finish him off.
It's going to set up 3rd down 3.
He mentions the fact that it's not unlike baseball hitting. Marino can fail the first 2 times, but if he gets the 3rd one, bats .333. That's success for the offense, and that's something that Marino has been outstanding at during his career.
Another blitz for the Patriots. Again, Marino with the hot read, and Jackson drops the ball.
Now, for most teams, this is the no-man's land. This is where 4th and 4 at the 33-yard line you're inclined to go for. But the Dolphins have one of the great long-distance kickers in the National Football League in Stoyanovich, so they're going to go for it. Ball's a little bit behind, but that's catchable. Jackson should have had it.
Myron Guyton there to wrestle with him, but as you say, I'm sure that Keith would tell you that he should have caught the football. 4th down 3 for the Dolphins. Stoyanovich again. This attempt will be from just beyond 50 yards. Made a 45-yarder on the last possession. He makes a 50-yarder here. So Pete Stoyanovich, who had been having a little bit of a mediocre season before the Raiders game, is hot. Back in Foxborough after Pete Stojanovich's second field goal of the game, this one from 50 yards, has given the Dolphins a 6-3 lead. A look at the Patriot defense. And Stoyanovich now to kick off again with Leroy Thompson and Corey Kroom deep to receive for New England. Dolphins playing without the man who was up till now their best kickoff coverage guy, Bernie Parmalee, because Parmalee in his regular running back role no longer covers kickoffs. Thompson with the run back gets to the 29. Tyrone Braxton made the stop for the Dolphins.
Take a look at the flight of the ball. It knuckles ever so slightly at the top, and for some inexplicable reason, the kickers beyond 50 yards this year have been very poor. 4 for 30. But not only does Stoyanovich make this kick, look at how far back it goes. That kick would have been good from about 58 or 59, Jim.
Stoyanovich says to me, incidentally, Todd, that it's no mystery why percentages are low from beyond 50 yards. He says it is entirely because of the league office directive preventing equipment managers from treating the balls before games. On first down, Blair Thomas with the call, and Brian Cox gets to him from middle linebacker, drops him for a loss of about 4.
This is the reason why they're keeping Brian Cox in as the middle backer, number 51. He's the one that's going to come in and slice in, and no one's going to see him. No one makes the play. Comes around Sam Gash in that case, because that's who Gash should have been going after, but instead he lets him go, and Cox makes a tackle for a loss. Interesting point with regards to him, Jim. 6'4", 249, runs the 40 in around 4'9", 4'9", 5, which you'd think, well, why are we going to draft that guy? Well, what difference does it make? He can play.
More than fast enough. Thomas again. And again, the Dolphins are there. Jeff Cross making the stop from his defensive end position.
Now, you hear the crowd booing a little bit, but I don't necessarily disagree with what Bill Parcells is trying to do here. Throughout the season, when the running game has not been effective, they've abandoned it quickly and gone to throwing the ball 40, 50 times per game. Bill Parcells realizes, hey, it's 6-3, I'm at home, there's plenty of time left, we can still establish the running game, we don't have to get pass happy this early.
Still, only 35 yards on the ground so far in the game, 15 of them on one run by Butts. On third down, Bledsoe under pressure, releases, it's dropped by Thompson, and it'll be another punting situation for New England. An entirely different game than the one these two teams played in Miami on September 4th.
As Jim mentioned earlier, Marco Coleman, most valuable player for the Dolphins coming into this game in the first half of the season. Bruce Armstrong and Marco Coleman will be battling all day like that.
O'Neal there to kick it away for New England. O.J. McDuffie waits at his 35-yard line. Dolphins, who were bottled up with poor field position through much of the first half, now enjoying much better opportunities to score. McDuffie takes it at his 30, gets back to about the 35. The Dolphins will start from there after a 44-yard punt and a 5-yard return. 6, a 3, and 3/4. Second quarter, Miami leading New England.
Drew Bledsoe has to think about what it is he needs to do to get his offense on track.
Dan Marino, 90 yards passing so far in the game. Parmalee and Byers behind him as the Dolphins start from just inside their 35 on first down. It's Parmalee with the ball, and good yardage across the 40. Aaron Jones dragging him down, number 97, from behind.
But not what they want to see, 9 yards downfield. Good push by the right side of the offensive line of the Dolphins, and Parmalee shows his vision, cuts back against the grain. Jones gets him down, but not before he picks up 9.
All-time leading rusher at Ball State, where one of his teammates is reserve New England running back Corey Kroom. Kroom hasn't gotten the opportunity to go from scrimmage yet. Parmalee finally got that chance a few weeks ago and has made the most of it. Second down, 1 yard to go. Marino, Parmalee, first down Dolphins. Tim Goad made the stop from his nose tackle position. We go back to Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim, in Indianapolis, one for the veterans. 33-year-old Boomer Esiason to 36-year-old Art Monk, 22 yards. Monk's first touchdown as a member of the Jets. The Colts lead is cut in half. It's 14-7, under 5 minutes to play in Indianapolis. Jim?
Still amazing to me to think that one human being in the National Football League could catch 900 passes. It's amazing.
First down 10, ball on the 46. Completion to Jackson, and Jackson has first down yardage before Ricky Reynolds drags him down for New England. 10-yard gain, and increasingly, Todd, it appears that the Dolphins have found something.
Well, what has happened here is it was mentioned when Will McDonough made the point they're going to double team the wideouts. That means it's going to be costly in terms of Keith Jackson, meaning it's either going to be zones underneath or he's going to get man-for-man coverage with the linebackers. That's just too much space that they're giving number 88, and he's been taking advantage of it.
First down 10, Dolphins now at the 44-yard line. Jackson says he's going to retire when this contract with the Dolphins expires. Well, there's one for the books. Intended receiver was Byers, but it was the umpire who took the football.
He's part of the field. That's Al Conway.
That is Al Conway, isn't it?
Take a look right in the middle. He's part of the field. Byers is going to come underneath. He steps in to try to take a look, and he's going to catch this one right on the noggin, it appears. Trying to get out of the way, but pow. Got him right there, right in the face.
The Conway noggin preventing Keith Byers from picking up yet another catch. Tough break for the Dolphins. Second down 10 at the 44. How you feeling, Al? Tonight, just to get you into the Halloween spirit, incidentally, it's the network premiere of The Addams Family, a great Sunday night movie tonight at 9, 8 Central here on NBC, starring, of course, Angelica Houston and the late Raul Julia. That's tonight on NBC, and there is the damage to Al Conway. McDuffie in the game as the Dolphins go with 3 wides on second down 10. Marino fires. Flat to Jackson, and Wayne Saab, number 95, is there to knock him out of bounds after a short gain. It'll be third down, about 6.
Well, interestingly enough, most of the attention for the tight end position coming into this game was Ben Coates. And now it appears that Keith Jackson is the one reestablishing himself. Of course, back in 1988, when he came into the league with the Philadelphia Eagles, he caught 81 balls. And everybody felt like he was going to be the next Kellen Winslow. His numbers had slipped since then, but tonight, having a big game while Ben Coates has only caught 1 ball.
Coates watching from the sidelines. Jackson getting attention from the New England defense on third down. Marino's throw batted back into his hands. Safety blitz. Harlan Barnett, number 42, the man who had an earlier interception in the game, this time got his hands on the football as Dan tried to release.
Good call by Al Groh, the defensive coordinator. Barnett comes in completely untouched right in Marino's face. And a lot of times you question as to whether or not people should jump when the quarterback's about to throw, because sometimes he can pump fake and fool you. In that case, Barnett does the right thing in jumping. Watch the right of your screen. You're going to see right here, number 42 is going to come in. He jumps, gets his hands on the ball. Actually almost came up with the interception. Marino touches the ball. It's up in the air for a little bit. It finally falls harmlessly.
Jim Arnold's a punt from his 45. Troy Brown waiting at the 10-yard line for New England. Brown calls for the fair catch. He'll have company as he tries to make it, and does at the 12-yard line. We've got 2 minutes, 16 seconds remaining in the half. After the 29-yard punt, New England trailing 6-3. Will start with the football inside its 20-yard line. Coming up, it's the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Greg and Mike bringing you up to date with scores and highlights of all the action from around the National Football League.
And you know, Jim, much as it pains me to admit this, Mike Ditka might have been right. He mentioned that both teams were really going to try to establish the running game, and it was going to be a closer contest, a little bit more close to the vest. He turned out to be prescient. 6-3 here as we head to the 2-minute warning of the first half.
Why should you be upset that Ditka was so on target? It's all within the tight end fraternity, Todd.
Oh, good point. Okay.
First down 10. And the give is to Kevin Turner. And the dependable Patriot fullback has only a couple. It will be second down 8, and the crowd didn't like the call.
Well, they didn't like the call because they want them to get into their 2-minute warning mode, which now they'll get a chance to. And Drew Bledsoe will get a chance to chat with Bill Parcells as to whether or not they want to give it a shot or just run out the half. Be interesting to hear what this discussion is between Bill Parcells and Drew Bledsoe, which was during the break, and that is whether or not he's going to give him the opportunity to go downfield, or if he's just going to try and run it out. So he's going to let him throw.
Second and 9 from the Patriot 14. 2 tight ends in the game. One of them, that man, Ben Coates, Second catch of the day, 53rd of the year for the AFC's leading receiver, Michael Stewart. Knocked him out of bounds after a gain of about 9.
Well, you know, he actually did a little of both there. He knew that that pass was going to be completed because it was an easy throw. So if he got tackled, the play didn't work. The clock would keep running. Coates just going to the outside here on the tight end screen, and J.B. Brown is right there, but Coates with a big stiff arm just pushes him to the ground. Now they set up in a situation now, very makeable 3rd and 1, and if they get this first down here, I guarantee them that they're going to attempt to get down the field.
0 for 5 on 3rd downs today. The give is to number 36, Leroy Thompson, and the designated 3rd down back is filled by Stewart, short of the first down. Coleman was there as well. So the Patriots are probably facing a punting situation. We'll be back.
Ball is marked at just a little bit short of the 23-yard line. Take a look at where Thompson ends up, where his knee hits and where he lunges the ball forward. The mark right there. He leans the ball across the 23-yard line, but his knee was down. The official was right to put the ball where he did mark it, between the 22 and the 23. And this is a big-time gamble here, and you can see it by the way he's got his hands ringing that program.
Parcells, who went for first down on 4th down numerous times against the Jets 2 weeks ago, tries it here with Bledsoe's quarterback sneak. And he's got the yardage for the first down. Gutsy play, going for it on 4th and 1 inside your 25.
Jim, I think the left tackle moved and they got away with it. It looked like they had a little bit of a flex at the line of scrimmage and the flag didn't go down.
Bruce Armstrong, 78.
Take a look at Armstrong, number 78. He flexes just a little bit. Bruce Armstrong flexes just a little bit. Take a look here. Take a look here right at the beginning of the play if we can. He's calling the signals. Now look at the flex. There's the flex. Right there, that flex right there. If Marco Coleman jumps off sides right there, they move that back 5 yards. Instead, they get the first down. Big break for the Patriots.
So they'll have it 1st and 10 at their 24-yard line now. 1 minute, 25 seconds to go before halftime. Parcells showing some confidence in his defense by making that choice.
Well, I think here's a situation where you challenge your offense too. Now they go, whether they score or not, going into the locker room, the offensive line has to feel good about themselves because they said, hey, the head man has confidence in us in crucial situations. That's going to bode well in the second half.
Yeah, he really gave a message to both units, offense and defense. Now 1st and 10.
Play's going to come back.
This is Thompson. Good tackle by Brian Cox.
Kevin Turner couldn't stay still in the backfield for whatever reason. I guess he was in a hurry to get out to the flat pattern, which is surprising because it's only a 5-yard route. You can see Parcells is not very happy with those mental errors.
It was the headset drop response. Dolphins elect to take the play, which was a gain of a couple, so it'll be 2nd down, 8 yards to go.
There it is. There's that headphone spike that you mentioned.
I said drop.
Oh, excuse me.
I was wrong.
That looked like a spike to me.
That was no drop. That was a spike. I was wrong. You were right. Those headsets are delicate there. Turner in motion. Heavy pressure. And the Dolphins have the football. Jeff Cross is able to get hold of it after number 94, Craig Veazey, was right in Bledsoe's face. And that's another one that Drew would like to have back.
Well, again, it's a tip pass, so give credit to the defense for making the plays, batting the ball up in a very athletic play by Jeff Cross, who you wouldn't think at 6'5", 280 pounds would be able to do that. Marco Coleman on the other side of the field, able to beat. There's the tip, as you mentioned, able to beat him to the outside, force a little pressure by Bledsoe. That's a situation where I'm sure he wishes that he would have just taken the sack, and it's actually Cross who makes the bat and the catch. Nice athletic play by number 91.
Veazey, Webster, and Coleman were all there on the pass rush. Now Marino with a great opportunity, 1st and 10 from the 29. Throws to Byers, and Byers steps out of bounds to stop the clock. Ricky Reynolds was there with him. And that's the sideways headset spike.
Well, in that case, that wasn't a spike, that was a drop. He's really disgusted with that. But again, here's the situation that you mentioned earlier. He had confidence in his defense. If for whatever reason New England can here hold the Dolphins to just another field goal, they have to feel pretty good about themselves.
Yeah, when he went for it on 4th and 1 in that position, he was in effect saying, okay, if we don't get it, my defense is going to keep him out of the end zone. We'll only be down 9-3. Let's see if that plays out the way he suspected it would. Again, first down. First knocks him out of bounds.
Now, as much as we've been complimenting Al Groh in terms of some of the things that he's done here in the first half, if he continues to back up the zones and allows the flat routes to Keith Byers to get down the field, there's a 1:01, plenty of time for Dan Marino to get the ball in the end zone. Time is absolutely not a factor for the Dolphins because they have all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
I think you have to call it at this point a dreadful first half for Bledsoe. His Patriot team, when Bledsoe started the season hot, scored in its first 16 quarters of the season. Now they will have had 7 scoreless quarters in the last 14. Marino to Parmalee. And the good tackle out there by Todd Collins, but did he keep him in bounds?
He did, because he did stay in bounds, and that's why Marino had to use the timeout. But he might have gone that direction anyway.
Plenty of time for the Dolphins to get it into the end zone with the ball now positioned at the 13-yard line.
Well, as you mentioned, the tackle, what the tackle did here was that it forces him to stay in bounds. Collins hustles outside. Too late. There he's down. He is. Good call by the official right there. He's down in bounds, hence the reason the clock continues to run.
So the Dolphins used the first of their 3 timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining. And Bernie Kosar and Don Shula, along with Doug Peterson, chatting with Marino. You look at the ticker. It shows you scores of other games. San Diego back to within a point of Seattle. Denver with an 8-point lead, 14-6 over Cleveland. Indianapolis looking for a win over the Jets, which would further tighten the already suffocating AFC East. Raiders, Harvey Williams again. New nickname in L.A., Todd, 100-yard Harvey.
Ooh. As opposed to long neck, right?
Danny Green's got his Vikings rolling again. Marino into the end zone, misses Jackson. Guyton behind Jackson. If Dan could have made a perfect throw. Dwayne Sabb finally getting some pressure on Marino before he released.
Play that they've been saving for here. Jackson with a little bit of a post move. He needed to take him just a little bit farther inside, but as you mentioned, Marino overthrew it. He doesn't have the personnel that he wants. He wants a regular situation. He had 3 wides. He wants regular formation to run this particular play with 2 wides and 1 tight.
And the strategic situation, it's 3rd and 5.
So now he calls timeout because he wants to get it straight.
So they use the next to the last timeout. They'll have 1 remaining. And Dan's right. The 3rd and 5 play is critical. If they miss on this, they'd be forced to go for the field goal.
Well, what they had in that situation is they ended up going with technically a 3-wide deal anyway. They flexed Keith Jackson out as the 3rd wide receiver.
Coming up, it's the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Greg Gumbel and Mike Ditka bringing you up to date with scores and highlights of all the action from around the NFL. Did you see that the Dallas Cowboys barely squeezed by the winless Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, the thing that's interesting to me about that and how it pertains to our game, Jim, is, of course, the New England Patriots over the last couple of games. In 7 games, their games have been decided on an average of their wins by 3 and their losses by 4. It just goes to show that adage about any given Sunday. Arguably the best team in the National Football League plays arguably the worst team in the National Football League. It's 23-20. You never know.
Dallas, Cincinnati. Parcells saying that there is no magic formula to winning close games, though with this team, New England, the beginning would be limiting turnovers. And Bledsoe has had 2 more interception throws today, leaving Al Groh and the defense in a precarious position here as they trail 6-3 and try to keep it from getting to 13-3 before halftime. Miami 1 of 8 on 3rd down today. This is 3rd and 5. Out of bounds Browns with the first down. Todd Collins again with the touchdown-saving tackle. But another big play by the former free agent running back out of Ball State.
The guy that makes the play here, though, Jim, clearly is Dan Marino. The rush starts to get to him. They're in excellent coverage. Now watch him step forward and do the very thing that has made Joe Montana famous. Nobody is going to mistake Dan Marino for the mobility of a Young or a Cunningham. But he did what he had to there to get the first down and stepping up.
First and goal. 41 seconds. Dolphins have one timeout. Bernie Parmalee stopped at the 2. Todd Collins again with the tackle. Collins wasn't healthy when the Patriots first played the Dolphins. He's made his presence felt in the first half here.
Now Marino looks over to the sidelines to say, do you want timeout here or what do you want to do? He can get everybody up to the line of scrimmage and spike it if he cares to, and then that would leave him with 2 opportunities to get in the end zone. Interesting what the call here is going to be.
Patriots have too many men on the field. Maurice Hurst was trying to get off and trying to call timeout at the same time, and let's see what the officials have decided on.
I think New England got the timeout.
Timeout, New England, prior to the snap. That's their second timeout. It'll be a 40-second timeout.
Good decision. You see Todd Collins right there screaming because he sees, as you pointed out, Jim, Hurst, there was no way that he was going to get off the field, so they would have had 12 men giving the Dolphins a free play. Todd Collins, inside backer, seeing that and alertly calling the timeout.
I'm not even sure that Hurst would have been the man who was supposed to come off, but as one of the more experienced players out there, perhaps he spotted that there were 12 and decided, hey, I'd better leave if nobody else is going to.
Well, that's right. But again, Collins right on top of that. Otherwise, who knows what would have happened.
So it will be second down. Scoreboard says 1 yard.
I really, you know, because of the, I'm sorry to interrupt, Jim, but because of the confusion of Marino on that situation, they cost themselves there about 18 seconds. Going with the running play, which is a good call on first down, if he would have got everybody up to the line of scrimmage, spiked the ball, then they could have had 3rd and 1 and been able to run or go with a play-action pass with those 2 timeouts remaining. Now they're under the gun. They have to throw here because if they run and don't get it,
double tight ends. Now Jackson flexes out into a slot. They give it to the fullback Byers, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown. Going right behind center Jeff Dellenbach. And Dellenbach helped to get the push against the smallish New England defensive line.
well, that was risky business there, Jim, going with the run, but give credit to Gary Stevens and Don Shula and the offensive staff of the Dolphins. They spread everybody out. They've been throwing the ball from that situation. They hand the ball to Byers, who up to this point I don't believe had a carry in the game. Primarily the running game had been Bernie Parmalee. Surprising everybody, jumps over the top for the 6.
Stoyanovich to add the point and make it 13-3. 7 seconds still left before halftime. So the Bledsoe interception off a pass tipped and then grabbed by defensive end Jeff Cross sets up a Miami touchdown, the first of the game for either side, and suddenly it's Dolphins 13, Patriots 3.
Everybody's spread out. They're coming with the blitz to the outside. This is totally unexpected. Keith Byers jumps over the top of Jeff Dellenbach in for the touchdown. He's got to feel pretty good about that.
Be sure to visit the Patriots Pro Shops located on the north
Excellent defensive first half for the Dolphins. An excellent defensive first half for New England comes a cropper as they're unable to keep the Dolphins out of the end zone here.
Well, the deal there, Jim, is, as you pointed out earlier, they're spending way too much time on the field, the New England defense. The offense has just not generated anything, and that's going to be interesting at the beginning of the second half as to whether or not New England abandons the running game, goes to the free-flowing, throw it down the field kind of approach that they've had earlier, or if they stay with their game plan.
And the sometimes stormy relationship between Parcells and Bledsoe promises fireworks at halftime.
Well, Jeff Cross is the guy who ends up making the big play, but it's Marco Coleman who puts the pressure from the outside, forcing the errant throw. In fact, Cross is the only guy who doesn't have much of a pass rush, and you see this happen from time to time. The guy doesn't get the pass rush. He stays back, watches the quarterback's eyes. In this case, great opportunity for Jeff Cross, and he makes the most of it.
For a limited time at the Sports Museum. Bring your tickets.
Remember when Minnesota had the great front four, the Purple People Eaters? Was it Gary Larson who always hung back in the middle while Marshall and Eller and Page were rushing the passer.
And I remember also later in his career with the fearsome force of the LA Rams, Merlin Olsen did a lot of the same thing.
Pete Stoyanovich to kick it away for the Dolphins. Thompson and Kroon deep for the Patriots. Stoyanovich kicks it along the ground. It's picked up by one of the up men. And it'll be down at the 42-yard line. 3 seconds left on the clock for Bledsoe and company.
Now, I never understand this. I still don't understand the squib kick. Now, if the returner is a Tyrone Hughes or an Eric Metcalf, someone of that ilk, then I understand the squib kick. But here you don't have the dynamic returner. Now you've got a situation here at the 41-yard line where conceivably Bledsoe can get the ball into the end zone as opposed to if they're on their own 20, then more than likely, there's absolutely no chance of that happening.
But instead,
this is so much for that.
So it is Miami 13, New England 3 after a first half dominated by defenses on both sides. We'll be back with the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report after these. Bring it back live to Foxborough Stadium where the Dolphins have a 13-3 halftime lead over the New England Patriots. I'm Jim Lampley with Todd Christensen. Dan Marino's ticket to the Hall of Fame already assured, Todd. As for young Bledsoe, I guess he's not ready quite yet, huh?
Well, again, we talked early on about all those projections, and he's going through a bad period. He struggled 2 weeks ago against the Jets with his lowest yardage total, and clearly in the first half he has struggled in terms of numbers, not just with the interceptions, but his inability to do anything. Take a look at the passing yards for the Patriots. They're only 49 total passing yards. That's very unacceptable where that offense is concerned. And because they've yet to really establish the running game, I would anticipate they've got to do something much different here in the second half to get going.
Critical number in the Coors Light. Dolphins have a 13-3 halftime lead over the New England Patriots. I'm Jim Lampley with Todd Christensen. Dan Marino's ticket to the Hall of Fame already assured, Todd. As for young Bledsoe, I guess he's not ready quite yet, huh?
Well, again, we talked early on about all those projections, and he's going through a bad period. He struggled 2 weeks ago against the Jets with his lowest yardage total, and clearly in the first half he has struggled in terms of numbers, not just with the interceptions, but his inability to do anything. Take a look at the passing yards for the Patriots. They're only 49 total passing yards. That's very unacceptable where that offense is concerned. And because they've yet to really establish the running game, I would anticipate they've got to do something much different here in the second half to get going.
Critical number in the Coors Light halftime stats. Those 2 turnovers, both of them interceptions. The arm of Bledsoe, numbers 12 and 13 of the season. O'Neal kicks it off for New England to start the second half. O.J. McDuffie takes the football at his 5. And McDuffie comes all the way back to the other side of the field and almost finds the wall before going down at the 28-yard line. Let's quickly go to Will McDonough down on the field.
Yeah, Jimmy, I talked to Don Shula when he came off at the half. I walked him up to the dressing room. I asked him how they were so effective against Drew Bledsoe. He said the number one thing in their game plan was to get pressure on Bledsoe. They're blitzing him more than they usually do. Ron Cox in the middle has done a great job. Brian Cox rather blitzing him. They're keeping 5 guys after him the whole game. I know Bill Parcells told his players to step up and make some plays in the second half when he talked to them. Back to you, Jim.
All right, thanks, Will. Parmalee and Byers behind Marino on first down. This is Bernie Parmalee, who had 41 yards rushing in the first half and jacks that number up to about 50 before Maurice Hurst makes the stop for New England. 9-yard gain, second down 1. Quarterback comparison in the first half, Todd.
Well, the fact, besides the 2 interceptions and only the 50 yards passing, the fact that he only threw the ball 13 times indicates the fact that the defense for New England was on the field far too long.
Dolphins had the football more than 10 minutes in the second quarter. They give credit to Parmalee for 10 yards on first down, so it is another first down, and Parmalee again finds room. What a talent. Out to midfield before Harlan Barnett makes the stop. This guy was delivering for UPS 3 years ago, Todd, and looking to get a shot.
Well, the thing that he does well here is that he sees that things are clogged up a little bit, quick enough to cut back against the grain, now cut inside at 5'11", 205 pounds. He's deceptively strong as he breaks through some arm tackles and gives the Dolphins a first down in midfield.
13 carries, 64 yards now for Bernie Parmalee. Remember, he had 30 carries for 150 yards against the Raiders 2 weeks ago. Just across midfield, Parmalee again. And it's going to be a gain of about 2 before Vincent Brown makes the stop from his linebacker position. We talked about Parmalee's journey from UPS delivery man to starring for the moment in the National Football League. What does he think of that progression?
It's been a long road, but I've been patient, and the coach has been patient with me also, and it just gave me the opportunity, and I just wanted to go in there and do what I can do to help the team win.
Jim, this reminds me, a couple of years ago when I was at the Super Bowl in Pasadena between Buffalo and Dallas, I ran into John Mackey, who had finally had his Hall of Fame induction. His response to me, I said, "Does it bother you you've waited this long?" And he said, "No, Todd." He said, "Good things come to those who wait." That certainly was the attitude personified by Bernie Parmer, a young man who certainly could have been bitter through the fact that the Dolphins have hardly had a stellar running game over the last couple of years. In fact, 1978 is the last time they had a 1,000-yard rusher, a fellow named Delvin Williams. And so you could figure that Parmalee might have argued, gotten Shula's face, demanded to be traded, but he did none of that. And now it's his turn.
First down toss from Marino to Keith Byers. Lose the chains again now as the Dolphins take it inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. Vincent Brown making the stop one more time for New England. He's been very busy today. And you saw the reason why that whistle blows. "16 years since the Dolphins have had a 1,000-yard rusher. In fact, here's a look at the only 3 running backs in Dolphin history to have reached the 1,000-yard mark.
A couple of pretty good players there in Zonka and Morris. Zonka, of course, over 8,000 yards in the Hall of Fame. Mercury Morris, second in the NFL career with regards to average per carry at 5.0, behind Jimmy Brown at 5.2, and of course Delvin Williams, we mentioned earlier.
Parmalee again. Flag goes down as the Patriots stop him for a gain of about 2. And you saw that statistic which indicated that Marino has never had the privilege of playing with a 1,000-yard rusher since he came into the league. He's the man who apparently lobbied hard with Don Shula to get playing time from scrimmage for Parmalee. Terrific special teams player.
Offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Burt Widener's 3rd penalty of the day.
That makes what he's done all that more remarkable now that you mention it. The fact that he has not had a 1,000-yard rusher. Of course, when you look at the others, Dan Fouts had Chuck Muncie and Ernest Jackson. Joe Montana, of course, had Wendell Tyler and Roger Craig.
Fran Tarkenton had Chuck Foreman.
Correct.
And before that, Dave Osborne and Bill Brown. On first down and deep for Marino. He tries to get some of it back, throwing to Parmalee. Todd Collins makes the stop for New England, and incidentally, Parmalee, because of the workload he's getting from scrimmage, has not played on any special teams units so far today.
Well, that certainly makes sense. You've got your big stud. You want to rest him for when it counts. Todd Collins now with his 10th tackle in the game on Bernie Parmalee. And it was interesting with regards, we'll get later, Parmalee's comments with regards to the whole idea of playing both offense and special teams.
21 yards to go. Ball at the 50. They got to get it to the 29 for a first down. Blitz coming. Marino sees it and delivers. No receiver there. Another safety blitz for New England.
And that's the second time when that happened. He just completely threw the ball away. We remembered that earlier. Now Al Groh has a situation where it's 3rd and 20, and my guess is that there's no way that they're going to go with a blitz here. Go with a 3- and 4-man rush and cover with his dime package.
Patriots had a surprising 23 sacks total coming in. They've been getting it by spreading the wealth, using blitzes, getting everybody contributing. They have not sacked Marino today.
Well, interesting point there. You mentioned 23 sacks leading the National Football League by 12 different people, so you're right. They really do spread it around.
4 wide receivers now on 3rd down and forever. And they throw underneath to Mike Williams. He's got a lot of running room. And a first down inside the 30 to the 27-yard line before Corwin Brown finally stopped him for New England. A 25-yard pickup on 3rd down 21.
This is an absolutely awful call on the part of Al Groh. You've got 3rd and 20. Why do you want to blitz? Why is it you want to come with a safety blitz here and set up a screen so when he cuts to the middle of the field, it's going to be wide open? They come with the blitz. They have the flanker screen. Cuts to the middle. There's nobody there. Absolutely nobody there. You've got 3rd and 20. Why in the world would you blitz? Go ahead, give him 10, 12 yards, make him punt. Bad decision.
Groh having a great day on the Christensen log right up until that moment. Gives it up there. On first down, the throw in the flat. And Byers is down near the 10 to the 12-yard line before Hurst and Brown made the stop.
Well, again, Keith Byers has been doing this all day, and Marino is very content to throw the ball in the flat and let people like Keith Jackson and Keith Byers make the plays. Basic 6-yard throw, he turns around, there are no blue shirts. Look at that. He actually runs about 8 yards before there's any contact at all.
Gain of 14, Marino to Byers, 9th year out of Ohio State. Byers, one of 8 former first-round draft choices on the Dolphins' offensive unit. 7 of them at the skills positions. Parmalee. And he has a gain of about 6 before Todd Collins again makes the stop. It'll be 2nd down 4. And again, you got to say, Todd, what a talent this guy is.
Well, one of the things here is we mentioned how long New England had been on the field defensively. Take a look at the tackling now. There's a collision there. There's a guy. 2 people had their hands on him, arm tackles, and look how he's just running through people now. Certainly give credit to Parmalee for keeping his legs going and being powerful. But the New England defense, Jim, is tired.
15 carries, 91 yards against the Buffalo Bills. Then 30 carries, 150 yards against the Raiders. And he is pressing up toward 100 today. Marino on 2nd down. Touchdown.
Great call. That's what the running game does for you. Running that effectively, they go with the fake. Everybody's with Parmalee. Counter boot fake is what it is. He gets it to Byers underneath for the touchdown.
2nd touchdown for Byers. The 1-yard plunge with 7 seconds to go before halftime. And now a 7-yard catch for Marino. 18th touchdown pass of the season for Dan Marino. To add the point and try to make it 20-3. That would put a lot of pressure on Bledsoe and the Patriot offense. Already has. And 20-3 it is. So with 8 minutes, 48 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, the Dolphins cap off a drive on their first possession of the 2nd half and lead 20-3. Foxborough Stadium, 8:48 to go in the 3rd. Miami now leads 20-3 after Keith Byers' 2nd touchdown of the day. Byers now 7 catches, 65 yards, and a touchdown. Stoyanovich prepares to kick it away. Corey Kroom and Leroy Thompson are deep. Al Groh working with his Patriot defense on the sideline. Football. Cuts back inside, gets across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. Good coverage by the Dolphin kickoff team, and we'll be back.
Clearly the key play of the last drive, 3rd and 21. Flanker screen to the left. You see the safeties coming. Bad decision because then Mike Williams cuts to the middle of the field and enables him to get the very 3rd and long. That, of course, sets up the touchdown. Take a look at the fake by Bernie Parmalee coming this way. Guards pull, and so all the blue shirts go this way. Willie McGinnis comes in on the blitz. He gets fooled, and Byers comes underneath in the flat, enabling Marino to hit him for the easy touchdown.
Spectacular piece of impressionist art there, Todd. Comes and goes, though, doesn't it?
It does.
27-yard line, 1st down Patriots. Bledsoe trying to get a completion, start to get his confidence back. Goes to Turner in the flat, pick up about 6. It'll be 2nd down 4. Michael Stewart made the stop for the Dolphins. I'm Jim Lampley along with Todd Christensen. Will McDonough on the field with us. 8 minutes, 33 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter at Foxborough Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, where the Miami Dolphins, leading the AFC East at 5 wins, 2 losses, come in against the 3-4 Patriots. Took a 13-3 halftime lead, largely fueled by 2 interceptions off of Drew Bledsoe, and now score on their first possession of the 2nd half to make it 20-3. Bledsoe throws complete to Kevin Turner, and Stewart again makes the stop as the Patriots appear to run the same play for the same yardage on a 1st down.
I think the point that you made is trying to get his confidence back, getting some easy completions with the flat route. There's an offsides penalty that they'll refuse. Kevin Turner giving him a 1st down right around the 40, and a little confidence, as you mentioned.
Nose tackle. Penalty is refused. 1st down.
Trying to wipe out some of the memory of those 2 disastrous 1st half interceptions. One set up a field goal and the other a touchdown.
Chuck Klingbeil jumping off just a little bit too quick. Not Klingbeil, rather, it was Bowens. I think here's a situation, too, that we really haven't mentioned as much as we probably should have. The absence of Vincent Brisby has certainly affected Drew Bledsoe in terms of throwing to the outside receiver.
Huge. On first down, they give to Marion Butts, and Butts, still trying to establish himself in the eyes of Patriots fans who missed Leonard Russell's 1,000 yards plus from a year ago, is brought down by Singleton after a gain of 3. Second down 7.
Well, the thing that stands out there is that Miami clearly will get their average more than likely by the end of the game unless Parmalee continues to run the way he is, and maybe they won't. But 61 yards today. Give credit to the defense of the Miami Dolphins. Give a lot of credit to Tom Olivadotti as well. Somewhat of a beleaguered coach coming into this game, but he's had a terrific game plan.
On second down, Bledsoe escapes from pressure and overthrows downfield, trying to get it to Michael Timpson, who didn't have a lot of daylight. And again, your point about Vincent Brisby, the most effective downfield threat for the Patriots, stretches the field for them, makes it tough to cover the other wide receivers.
Well, here's what the inexperience shows. With a lot of quarterbacks like, say, Elway or Marino or even Steve Young, they start to scramble and you get a little bit bothered. Bledsoe is a timing quarterback, and because he doesn't see the field quite as well as some of the veteran quarterbacks, when he has to step up and improvise, it becomes difficult.
Thompson in it, running back on third down. Bledsoe with an effective throw for a first down. Ray Crittenden makes his first catch of the day. J.B. Brown on the coverage. Drew's now 9 for 17, and this picks up another first down.
Gets the crowd back into it a little bit with a third down conversion. Crittenden with a good move. Subtle push on J.B. Brown. Gets away with it. First down, Patriots.
First third down conversion of the game for New England. Sets them up at the Dolphin 49-yard line. Good throw. Again, it's Crittenden.
They say incomplete.
Would have been an 11-yard gain. Looked like a catch, but wasn't. Atkins there on the coverage for the Dolphins.
Well, Crittenden's wondering. Let's take a look at the end of the play. Where does the ball end up? Look at the left of your screen. Crittenden comes over, makes the catch. Does the ball drop there? Can't tell from that angle. Looked like a catch to me. Take a look at this angle. Watch where the ball is. Does it ever squeeze out of his elbow?
Yeah.
Right there. Good call. There it is. Absolutely right. Officials right on top of it. Good job.
Second down. Bledsoe wants to go deep to Timpson. He is blanketed by Troy Vincent all the way, and there's the key to the Dolphins' rapidly improving pass defense is the coverage of former Wisconsin star Troy Vincent.
2 weeks ago, the Miami Dolphins were basically 80% in man coverage against the fastest group of wide receivers in the National Football League, the Los Angeles Raiders. Here, as you mentioned, Jim, stride for stride, right with him, all right with Timpson, almost comes up with the interception. Bledsoe with a terrific throw right where it should have been, but so is Vincent. Right there, perfect coverage by the man from Wisconsin.
Nickel defense on for the Dolphins. Steve Hawkins, number 80 in the game for the first time for New England at wide receiver. Bledsoe gets rid of the ball to Leroy Thompson, and Thompson can't make a play for the first down as Frankie Smith, number 29, made a terrific tackle.
He really did, because in that situation, there was nothing but green grass on the other side of the hash mark. Cutting back against it was Thompson, and Smith gets him down. Now at 4th and 5, down 17 points. Parcells feels like they have to go for it.
They're not able to convert fourth downs into first downs against the Jets. They missed on their first half try. I know they made it on the first half try. Bledsoe's quarterback sneak. Then he gave it up on the interception. 4th and 5 here. Off the hand of Michael Timpson. Vincent, I should say, there again on the coverage. And the Patriots will surrender the football at the 45-yard line.
Not much pressure. Drew Bledsoe has plenty of time. Timpson gets open by a step, just overthrows and sidearms it a little bit too far. As a result, another failed 4th down conversion. Tom Olivadotti, defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins, putting together a tremendous game plan. You see him talking with Gene Adkins there. They've been putting pressure on Bledsoe all day long, as well as the coverage downfield has just been outstanding.
And how about Parmalee? There's another terrific cut inside for Parmalee. Myron Guyton finally makes the stop after a 17-yard gain.
Well, this just wasn't that difficult to throw, and as you pointed out, Jim, it looked a little bit casual. Side armor by Bledsoe, Timpson coming across. Looks like a pretty easy play, but he throws it too far, and now the Dolphins with the ball and driving.
Hey, you're going to throw it on 4th and 5. You have got to buckle down and put the ball on the money.
Body English for Coach Parcells there. I'm very happy.
On first down for the Dolphins after Parmalee's 17-yard rip. They move from the New England 39. Parmalee again with the ball. Could have been dropped for a loss, but carved out a couple. Let's quickly go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Jim, in Indianapolis, Marshall Faulk has scored for the Colts from a yard out, finds his way into the end zone, and the Colts extend their lead over the Jets. It's 21-10, less than 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Jim and Todd, back to you.
All right, thanks, Greg. 8 touchdowns this year for Faulk, all of them at home in the RCA Hoosier Dome.
Interesting. He's on a pace for around 19 touchdowns, which is that's tremendous.
That's a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, for anybody, let alone a rookie.
Second down 8 after Parmalee's 2-yard gain. Play fake. Marino looking to get one on the board and throws it right into the hands of number 42, Harlan Barnett. Second pick of the game for Barnett. Yardage across the 30, and finally Keith Byers, Mr. Do-Everything for the Dolphins, brings him down. And Danny says, well, hey, he was wide open.
Yeah, there was a situation where there had to be a broken pattern because he threw into absolutely nothing but blue shirts.
24-yard return for Harlan Barnett off this pick.
I think he's thinking that Ingram is going to go to the post. Instead, he goes out to the corner. And as you mentioned, Barnett was wide open.
Little bit of an up and down day for Dan Marino. Good enough for his Dolphins to be leading 20-3 over New England, but he's just thrown the second interception to safety man Harlan Barnett. And on first down, Drew Bledsoe fires to Ray Crittenden. Completion, gain of about 8. J.B. Brown on the coverage for the Dolphins.
The only thing we can guess here is that Ingram was supposed to go to the post. Instead, he goes to the corner. And as a result, there's nothing in center field except for Harlan Barnett. Timing route. Dan Marino just throws this one way downfield, and who can explain it?
The lonely safety, Harlan Barnett. Man usually has something to say after instances like that. He is the leader type, you know. Second down 2. Bledsoe throws to Leroy Thompson. And Thompson got some yardage across the 50 to the 46-yard line. Number 28, Gene Atkins of the Dolphins, there to make the stop. Aubrey Beavers was around as well, but it's a 15-yard gain for the Pats.
Well, don't forget, Leroy Thompson is the man that took the place of Barry Foster last year when he got injured, rushed for over 700 yards in his stead. He can do something with the ball after he catches it. Native of Knoxville, Tennessee, showing some nice moves and speed on that 15-yard gainer.
First down Patriots. Ball at the Dolphin 46. In and out of the hands of Timpson, way downfield. Troy Vincent was there on the coverage. Big opportunity for New England, and Timpson simply couldn't hold on.
Corner route. Short corner coming over to the side. There's Ben Coates. Great effort. Just couldn't quite come up with it.
Jets getting back into it with Indianapolis. I'm sure Greg will keep us up to date on that. Raiders and Houston tied up. Couple more quarterbacks hurt this afternoon. Stan Humphries apparently out, as is Vinny Testaverde for the moment. Second down 10 for the Patriots. Screen. Thompson. Terrific play from behind by Chris Singleton, former #1 draft choice of the Patriots, who dropped Thompson for virtually no gain. Let's quickly go to Will McDonough.
Before the game, Leroy Thompson came up to me. He said, "Will, you on the air today?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Well, I just learned that my wife Keisha went into labor. She's in the hospital in Knoxville, Tennessee. Please tell her that I love her, and I'll be home as soon as I can right after the game." Back to you, Jim.
Congratulations in advance to Leroy Thompson, hoping that everything turns out well for Keisha and the next addition to the Thompson family. On third down 9, Drew Bledsoe throws off the hands of the normally ultra-dependable Ben Coates. Coates stretching and not quite able to hold on. It would have been a first down.
Well, we had anticipated calling this name a lot, but the Dolphins have done an excellent job of containing Ben Coates. Aubrey Beavers bumps him there, maybe a little bit past 5 yards. And again, in fairness to Coates, the ball a little bit overthrown. Bledsoe certainly struggling with his accuracy today.
And on 4th down 9 with the football at the Dolphin 45, the Patriots trailing 20-3 cannot afford to punt. They've converted 1 of 2 4th down tries. And they won't convert this one. Jeff Cross, number 91, along with Larry Webster, number 79, Craig Beasy, number 94. It's the second sack of the game for the Dolphins.
Well, again, a little inexperience here. Just throw the ball away. Don't give them the extra 15 or 20 yards to set up. The Cross just beats Rucci on that play. That's the second big play for Cross, who, of course, earlier in the first half had the tip and the interception.
A bewildered Bill Parcells, his Patriots trail 20-3. Among Drew Bledsoe's 20 starting performances in the National Football League, his performance against the Jets 2 weeks ago was judged by newspapers here to be the second worst, bottomed only by a game against Pittsburgh last year. On 1st down now, Bernie Parmalee has a gain of about 7 for Miami. We'll continue the Bledsoe story, but first, Greg Gumbel in New York.
Jim, in Indianapolis, Bobby Houston of the Jets dropped an interception for a sure touchdown on the very next play. Mo Lewis picks off Don Majkowski and returns 18 yards for the score. With the 2-point conversion, the Colts lead is down to 3 over the Jets at 21-18. Jim?
All right, Greg, those pesky Jets. And we get back to the story of Bledsoe. This may yet rank, Todd, right there with those Pittsburgh and Jets outings.
Well, as you saw those numbers, 13 for 26, less than 200 yards, and 2 very costly interceptions.
Less than 100 yards.
Less than 100 yards, excuse me.
And speaking of 100, Bernie Parmalee is right on the verge now with 18 carries for 98 yards. Prior to that one, Dwayne Saab makes the stop, and if they credit him with 2, he will have 19 carries for 100 yards to this point.
That makes him the first back since 1991 when Mark Higgs did it to have back-to-back 100-yard games. 3 years. It's a long time between back-to-back 100-yard games.
And his performance right now is imperiling Higgs' place on the Miami roster. He's inactive again this week.
That's also imperiling his place on kick coverage for punt and kickoff. Don't look for Bernie Parmalee to be doing anytime soon.
That might have been obliterated already. Here goes Keith Byers looking for the 1st down yardage, and he's got it before Chris Slade makes the stop for New England. A 9-yard gain for Byers, and the Dolphins are starting to carve the Patriots up on the ground.
Utah pass, as it's known, or shovel pass, depending upon your vantage point. Byers having an absolutely outstanding day.
So call it another catch for Byers, and the 3rd quarter comes to a close with the Dolphins leading 20-3 over the New England Patriots. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. That expression tells you everything you need to know about New England's position in this football game against the Dolphins. We go into the 4th quarter with Miami leading 20-3. Bernie Parmalee is now securely and squarely over the 100-yard mark with that carry, and we'll bring you back here after Greg Gumbel brings us up to date in New York. Greg?
Jim, in San Diego, Seattle jumped off to a 7-0 lead. The Chargers have come roaring back to score 21 unanswered. Natron Means 5 yards here, but the Chargers have lost quarterback Stan Humphries with a dislocated left elbow. 6.5 minutes to play in the 3rd. They lead this game 21-7, Jim.
Fascinating. Thanks a lot, Greg. That means we're going to see a lot of Gail Gilbert in the Chargers uniform the rest of the year, right?
And it means we're going to see a lot of carries by Natron Means, is what that also.
His workload's going up. 8-yard gain by Parmalee on 1st down. Now he has about a yard on 2nd down before Aaron Jones makes the stop for the Patriots. Dolphins just trying to run some clock now and move forward toward what looks like a likely victory over the Patriots.
And that is a very key statistic for the Miami Dolphins. Everybody knows going into the 1994 season that Dan Marino in the passing game is crucial to their success, but they needed something to offset it. Now Bernie Parmalee has provided them with that. Early in the season, Kirby had a 100-yard game, and we had a chance in Green Bay, Jim, to see Irving Spikes, who is certainly a confident back. And I would say that Bernie Parmalee has slammed the door on that competition, at least at this point in the season.
Yeah, he has turned Spikes into a role player, and Kirby's stint on the injury list is momentarily forgotten. Marino to Fryer. Will it be another Dolphin 1st down?
Flag is down. PI one way or the other.
Hurst on the coverage for New England. Terrific throw by Dan, one of his best today.
Offensive pass interference, number 80, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
Deep hook route. Actually, it's the comeback route to the outside, and he pushes off on Hurst. And Marino's trying to argue that with the side judge. Watch number 80 and take a look at the hands. Misdirection. He wants to go to Byers underneath. Look at the push right there. Pushes him backward. Good call by the official.
Not quite subtle enough by Irving Fryer.
Not subtle at all, in fact.
One of the stronger wide receivers in the league, and he used that upper body strength there. Fascinating compliment to Fryer I saw incidentally in print this week. Don Shula saying he's as good a blocker as any wide receiver who's ever lined up in this league. Covers a lot of territory. Remember that Shula coached Paul Warfield. Third down, 12 yards to go. Ball at the 32. Marino in and out of the hands of Fryer. Hurst again there with the coverage.
I don't know. I think there are a lot of guys that come to mind. Roy Jefferson is one who I remember was a tremendous. J.D. Hill, of course, the Buffalo Bills. But getting back to Fryer, kind of rounds his route a little bit, doesn't quite square it up, ball a little bit behind, which means now Stoyanovich will try for his third field goal.
Irving shakes his head, and Pete Stoyanovich prepares to try to add his third field goal of the game. This attempt from 49 yards. He's had a 45-yarder and a 50-yarder. Both of them went in this direction. Make it 3.
His kick is good.
So the third relatively long field goal of the game for Stoyanovich, and the Dolphin lead is now 23-3.
Pete Stoyanovich was a prized free agent during the offseason. In fact, New England up here, Bill Parcells very much wanted him to come up and kick after the problems of Scott Sisson in 1993. But he opted to stay with the Miami Dolphins, and certainly they're glad of this today. 3 field goals, all over 45 yards.
Now 5 for 7 on the season for field goal attempts over 40 yards. Stoyanovich prepares to kick off to Thompson and Kroom. Coming to the near side of the field to Corey Kroom. Bernie Parmalee's former teammate at Ball State. Corey gets across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Next Sunday, NBC Sports presents an action-packed NFL doubleheader beginning at 12:30 p.m. Eastern with NFL Live. Most of you will see Dan Marino lead the Dolphins against Marshall Faulk and the Colts. Some of you will see an AFC Central rivalry as Pittsburgh takes on Cleveland, or San Diego in the Georgia Dome to play Atlanta. And in Game 2 of our doubleheader, most of you will see 2 teams on the rise as Drew Bledsoe and these Patriots face the Cleveland Browns. Some of you will see the Jets host the Bills, or the Broncos play the Rams. Check your local listings for the game in your area. How about that?
Needless to say, the anticipated shootout never did transpire.
Bledsoe still working to try to get over 100 yards passing for the game, and that one is incomplete. Chris Singleton there on the coverage. Fourth quarter numbers.
Well, the fourth quarter numbers are great for both during this season, touchdowns and interceptions, and certainly Bledsoe would have to duplicate that for the Patriots to get back in the game.
You know, Pete Stoyanovich is in his 6th year out of Indiana, Todd. Would you believe that he's never before nailed 3 field goals of longer than 40 yards in the same game? Bledsoe's throw right in the money to Ray Crittenden. Gene Atkins with a big hit. And there is Bledsoe's dad, Mac Bledsoe, who's made the trip all the way from Yakima, Washington, along with his wife and his son, Adam Bledsoe. And they have a momentary cause for celebration. You saw Patriot owner Robert Kraft right in front of Mac Bledsoe, and Drew just completed one for 12 yards to Ray Crittenden, which has given the Patriots a first down. J.B. Brown is down. We'll check on him, and we'll bring it back.
Along the way to bring you within yards.
Nose tackle Tim Goad of the New England Patriots waiting along the sideline and hoping that the Patriots won't have to go on defense too many more times or for too long. They've had trouble controlling the Dolphins since midway of the second quarter and trail 23-3. Patriots, after a 12-yard Bledsoe to Crittenden pass, have first down at the 46-yard line. Bledsoe again, and it's almost picked off. Steve Hawkins was the intended receiver. Aubrey Beavers there on the coverage. One of the ways in which Bill Parcells liked to stay on top of his quarterback, Drew Bledsoe, is by teasing him that younger brother, Adam Bledsoe, is a better thrower.
Well, he's got a younger brother that throws it better than him. His name's Adam Bledsoe. He's a high school junior, so I don't know whether we can put him up there with Larry Bird and those guys yet when he's got a younger brother that throws it better than he does.
at Eisenhower High School in Yakima Wash. On second down, Bledsoe completes to Kevin Turner, and Troy Vincent makes the tackle. There's Adam, seated next to Patriot owner Robert Kraft, who turns to him and says, well, what about 3 years with an option for the 4th? I'll guarantee the first 2 or 3.
Well, based on what he did the other night, maybe he'd have an argument.
J.B. Brown back in the game for the Dolphins. He was only gone for a play. And Kevin Turner has first down yardage before he's stopped by Chris Singleton. Now, during the bye week, Drew Bledsoe had regular practices with the Patriots, but last Friday, he got out of practice a half hour early so that he could fly all the way from Boston back to Yakima Wash. We were going to show you, incidentally, before that play so rudely interrupted, Adam Bledsoe, I should say, playing for Eisenhower High School of Yakima against Walla Walla, 4th rated in the state, and Drew's former alma mater. And that touchdown pass by Adam Bledsoe gave Yakima's Eisenhower High School the 10-6 upset over Drew's alma mater, Walla Walla, while Drew watched on the Yakima Eisenhower High School sideline. Did you capture all that, Todd?
Yeah, it looked like he was watching it on the monitor. He certainly enjoyed it.
Flags fly as Turner again gets the call from Bledsoe. That was a second down 10 play, so now the officials will sort it out. Don't know if you got the gist of all that, but the bottom line is Drew went home last week and his parents are here this week.
Number 94 offside, 5 yards, still second down.
So the Bledsoe family is becoming something of a mileage factory for the moment. Craig Veazey getting the penalty call there.
94 right in the middle. There you see crosses the ball. You know, it's interesting with regards to that Bledsoe family. That has to be exciting for Drew to come home and see his younger brother doing as well as he did. And, of course, for the entire family, it's got to be a thrill to see what their son is doing here in New England, despite his frustrations today.
Penalty flag goes down as Michael Timpson was downfield. You got the close-up shot of Atkins. We believe the flag may have gone against Troy Vincent, who's had such a terrific day in coverage for the Dolphins.
Deep slant route by Michael Timpson. Now they're going to say that the ball...
Holding, offense, number 61. Defensive pass interference, number 23. The penalty's offset. Will replay second down.
So holding Cratch, pass interference Vincent, replay the down.
Again, the deep slant. Here comes Timpson over the middle. Vincent in pretty good coverage as he get there before the ball. That was... Fortunately, it turned out to be a no call.
Second down 5. Turner in motion from fullback. Bledsoe over the middle to Leroy Thompson. Another terrific tackle by Brian Cox. Looks to be a little short of the first down.
It really was a nice tackle. Thompson clearly a lot quicker and faster than Cox. Take a look at number 51 in the middle of your screen. He has him in man-for-man coverage, just does the little circle route cutting underneath. Now he thinks he's going to outrun him, but Cox has the hands squarely between the 3 and the 6 and brings him down cattle style.
Remember the old tearaway jerseys? Remember when, particularly Oklahoma and Texas would play in those jerseys. If you touched them, they fell into confetti.
Yeah. When Earl Campbell went through about 5 or 6 of those a game.
Oh, yeah. Minutes 55 seconds to go in the game. Patriots are not yet out of it.
Well, they're 3 touchdowns away. If they can punch this in the end zone and then hold the Dolphins 3 and out and get the crowd back into the game, you never know.
Plenty of time. They'll be looking at 3rd down and a short yard for the first down.
3rd down and 1.
And what do you do on 3rd and 1, Todd? Play action, or is that a cliche at this point?
I think at this point you can see by the way they're set up defensively, that's what they're waiting on.
They got it.
What a catch.
3rd interception of the game thrown by Bledsoe, and Troy Vincent has a gift pick as the Patriots all too predictably tried to take advantage of the down and distance situation on 3rd and 1. They were obviously coming back to go for it on 4th down, but now no chance of that. Back in Foxborough, 10 minutes, 29 seconds to go in the game. Dolphins leading 23-3. Now, many of you are going to leave us to join the Jets and the Colts in progress. And on the other hand, a lot of you are sticking with us. So if you're still here, you're still here. Burt Widener out of the lineup at guard now for the Dolphins. Chris Gray comes on to replace him at right guard. On first down, the give is to Bernie Parmalee. And Parmalee has another significant gain before Mike Pitts makes the stop for the Patriots. Call it a 6-yard pickup, make it 2nd down 4. There's Bledsoe on the sideline. Bill Parcells said to us that he is a quarterback who is still hurting his team as often as he's helping it.
I say you're like the basketball player. You know, you get your 25, but the guy you're guarding gets 30. So, you know, you have to be careful. If you know, you're doing some things, but it costs your team to do those.
On 2nd down, Parmalee again with the football, moves toward the chain and may or may not have the first down. Tim Goad made the tackle. Today, Todd, it's more like Bledsoe is getting 11 or 12 points and giving up 30.
Yeah, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, just a little bit over 100 yards in passing. But again, I still think as badly as he has been, as inaccurate as he has been, the credit goes to Tom Olivadotti and the defense of the Dolphins.
Indeed. Great coverage by Vincent and Atkins and J.B. Brown and others back there. Pretty decent pass rush on Bledsoe much of the day. It's given Dan Marino and Bernie Parmalee and the Dolphins a chance to play fairly conservatively. And there's Keith Byers running with the football for the Dolphins. Goad and Pitts made the stop for New England.
Tim Goad and Mike Pitts on the stop.
There's Tom Olivadotti. You know, for a number of games early in the season, and particularly for the first game of the season, he was absolutely excoriated in the press for Bledsoe's 400-plus yard game and 4 touchdowns, wondering what he was going to do and how he was going to change things up. Well, the main weapons in that game, Bledsoe, Coates, Timpson, have been relatively quiet today, particularly Coates. 2 grabs up to this point.
2nd down 7. Parmalee with another gain of about 4. Mike Jones makes the stop. Patriot fans heading for the exits in this sellout season in Foxborough. Much credit to Parcells and Bledsoe and company and owner Robert Kraft as they've sold out the entire season. First time it's happened here in Foxborough, but today not much to hope for with 8 minutes remaining in the game. Bernie Parmalee getting close to 120 yards now. You put together today's effort. There's a look at Kraft, brand new owner this year.
Very animated.
He's having a blast. There's no question about it. 3rd and 3, and Marino will go from the gun, and I'll give you this Parmalee stat in just a moment. The Dolphin fans are going to want to hear it. Little shovel pass to Parmalee. And he's close to the chain, maybe a half-yard short of a first down. We'll check it out when we come back. First, let's go to Greg in New York.
All right, Jim, in Denver, Mark Rippon in for the injured Vinny Testaverde has thrown his first touchdown pass of the season. A 6-yarder to Mark Carrier. The 2-point conversion is good. And the Browns, with a 5-game winning streak on the line, have pulled it within 6 of the Broncos, 20-14 in the 4th, Jim.
All right, Greg.
Bernie Parmalee is really the story here. Marino having an okay day. The receiver is not particularly standing out. That's the man right there. Question, as we mentioned coming into the game, as to whether or not last week was an aberration, Jim, or 25 carries and 122 yards following up his 30-carry, 150-yard performance against the Raiders 2 weeks ago. Certainly it wasn't.
Gives him 272 yards in the last 2 games for the Dolphins, and Dolphin publicist Harvey Green tells us that never in the history of the franchise has a back rushed for more yardage in consecutive games than has Parmalee against the Raiders and the Patriots. Bernie Parmalee.
Does that mean now that they're going to have their scouts out at the UPS offices throughout the United States or what?
Well, it means that they may be scouting more actively for ball players at Ball State.
Well, the interesting point here is that inevitably this happens in organizations, Jim. You have high draft picks. You have to put these people in because they have to justify your expenditure. Here's a guy who's a free agent who never gets his opportunity until later than he really should have. And now certainly he's proven that he's a player.
And the irony, as I was mentioning in the first half, the Dolphins have 8 former first-round draft choices on the offensive unit, 7 of them at the skilled positions. But it is Parmalee, the former unrestricted free agent, who's now making the difference. And Parmalee goes off the field. Irving Spikes comes on and gets a carry. There's a flag down as Mike Pitts makes the tackle.
Again, Irving Spikes, let's also make the point, he was a free agent as well. Someone who was outstanding in the preseason, over 40 yards per kickoff return. And after the first game of the season against the Patriots, when they had no running game, they went to Spikes against Green Bay, had something like 70 yards in about a quarter and a half.
Offense number 62, 10 yards, repeat second down.
But they ended up injuring his knee, and that turned out to be fortuitous for Bernie Parmalee because he was injured. Now he steps in, and maybe Irving Spikes will be the, dare I say it, the Wally Pipp of running backs?
Well, he's a Pipp. There's no question about that. Gladys. There's Ben Coates. Don't smile, Ben. You have not had that big a day. Spikes and Saxon, the running backs behind Marino on 2nd and 16. Here comes Spikes. He shouldn't have been a free agent either, Todd, because they should have known he was going to be a star. He comes from Northeast Louisiana, the school that all of a sudden this year seems to produce more potential All-Pros than Notre Dame.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you know what? When you see a Spikes or you see the people come out of the small colleges and do well, I think that also might add to people's thinking with regards to someone like Steve McNair for the Heisman voting, saying to themselves, okay, maybe the competition doesn't look that good, but look what these people have done on the next level. So maybe it is legitimate that the guy's that good.
McNair, McSchmear. How about Arnold Mickens of Butler? Over 2,000 yards already this year. 3rd down, 13. Spikes gets back to the original line of scrimmage before Goad and Slade make the stop, and Scott Zolak, Drew Bledsoe's backup, is warming up on the sideline. Zolak enters. That'll be the end of the day for Bledsoe, and this stalls considerably Bledsoe's momentum toward Marino's record for yardage in a season.
Well, no doubt about it. I mean, coming into this game, they're going to average about 320 yards, and he's going to be 200 yards short of that. But then again, that's what they always do. I mean, projections are always that way. You know, guy hits a couple of home runs, and in April, all of a sudden, he's going to break Maris's record. So that's why they play the entire season to find out.
How about if you have 42 home runs and go on strike? Oh, well. Jim Arnold kicks it away for the Dolphins. Troy Brown takes it at the 18, gets across the 20, trying to make a big play. Brown busts it out across the 30 to the 34-yard line. A little life for the Patriots. You got to be kidding me. Bernie Parmalee made the tackle downfield for the Dolphins. He does it all.
What is Bernie Parmalee doing on the punt coverage?
I don't know.
Isn't rushing for 125 yards enough? He's on the punt coverage, makes the tackle, comes over to the sidelines, and I believe he's icing his wrist. I'm not sure the Shula knew that he was in the game, because if he would, he'd have taken him out clearly.
He's the captain of the special teams.
Well, I understand that, but come on. Look at that. Now, if he can't play next week for whatever reason with that, which I doubt, but just for the sake of argument, you have to, I mean, that's a mistake.
I'll get one of those lows of the week in sporting news. Zolak in the game now, replacing Bledsoe. And Zolak had a completion on 1st down, as you saw, and now completes to Leroy Thompson for 1st down yardage. J.B. Brown made the stop for the Dolphins. The ball moves to midfield, 1st and 10. Patriots trying to get something on the scoreboard and get a little confidence for Zolak in case he has to play more later in the year. Kevin Turner with the catch. Clock runs. Michael Stewart made the stop for the Dolphins. Both teams changing lines on the fly. Nope, wrong sport.
Well, this is certainly not what Drew Bledsoe had in mind with all of his family here.
2nd down, 3, and Leroy Thompson stumbles in the backfield to bring it to 3rd down for the Patriots. So it's 3rd down 5 now for Zolak and the Patriots, trailing 23-3. With the catch. Chris Singleton with another measure of revenge against his former team. The one-time #1 draft choice for the New England Patriots back in 1990 has caught on with the Dolphins and become a regular, and they say he gets better every week at outside linebacker. 4th down 4.
Well, he must have had some skills to be the 8th pick of that draft.
And that'll do it for that Patriot possession. What a forgettable day for the Patriots on offense. Which of course makes it a memorable day for the Dolphins and defensive coordinator Tom Olivedati.
Well, he's the reason. Those players have just done an outstanding job. And early in the season when they had struggled, giving up a lot of points to teams like Minnesota and, of course, New England earlier, did a great job, remember, 2 weeks ago against the Raiders in that overtime victory, and once again today.
Rare moment of vindication for Olivedati, who probably feels most of the time, reading even the Dolphins' home newspapers in Miami, that he ought to be wearing a flak jacket. 1st down 10 for Bernie Kosar and the Dolphins, as the Dolphins respond to Zolak by bringing Kosar on. And Bernie called timeout and wants to go talk to the official about it. The employee owners of Avis would like to salute the game's most valuable player, Bernie Parmalee, winner of today's We Try Harder Award. Has there ever been a more fitting winner of the We Try Harder Award than Parmalee, who has his 2nd consecutive huge game running the football for the Dolphins and powers the newfound Miami running attack, which has given them sole possession of the lead in the AFC East.
25 carries, 124 yards, and an ice bag on the wrist. And judging by the smile on his face and how happy he is, that can't be too serious.
Be sure to visit the Patriots Pro Shop.
Game balls against the Raiders for offense and special teams. He's only had 1 special teams tackle today, Todd, so not really as big a day. He's probably not going to get the game ball for special teams.
No,
in fact, I think Stoyanovich probably has a lock on that with his 3 field goals.
Certainly.
On 1st down, Cleveland Gary gets a carry. Dolphins had expected to use Gary a little bit coming out of the backfield today, but Parmalee made that unnecessary. Tim Goad and Troy Barnett both make the tackle for New England.
As did Keith Byers. Of course, Cleveland Gary was a man who caught over 50 balls 1 year with the LA Rams. Good runner and receiver. And I had anticipated, in fact, when I talked with Don Shuley yesterday, he mentioned he was going to get quite a few carries, but it didn't work out that way.
Bernie Parmalee wasn't drafted at all.
Drew Bledsoe there by himself on the bench, family and friends watching. He picked the wrong time to have the worst game of his relatively short professional career today.
3 interceptions. Barely 100 yards throwing the football.
On the other side, the man that he has been compared to favorably up to this point, Dan Marino. Solid day, not a great day for Dan Marino, but because of Bernie Parmalee, it really didn't matter.
Workman-like day. But if Parmalee's going to carry him to the Super Bowl on his strong legs, Marino will be happy to go along for the ride with numbers like that. 2 minutes to go. Kosar gives to Cleveland Gary, and the former Ram is across the 50 into Patriot territory.
The fact that the Patriots are not using their timeouts here shows the utter frustration on the part of the team. Remember at the end of the first half, Jim, with 3 seconds left, they really did have a shot just to throw it up in the end zone or rather a la Colorado and Michigan. But here, not even bothering to stop the clock.
An amazingly quiet day for tight end Ben Coates, whom you saw there momentarily.
51 catches coming into this game, only 2 today.
On 3rd down, Cleveland Gary tries the middle and is short of the 1st down. And there is the 5th-year tight end out of Livingstone College in North Carolina, who came in as the AFC's leading pass receiver and will exit with only 2 catches today. Dolphins had a good plan against Coates and executed it well. We'll be taking you to catch up on what's happening with Houston and the Raiders when this game is finished. I want to thank our booth crew, statistician Bill George, assisted by Bob O'Virginian and Dave Lorenzi, and my spotters Joe Pereski and Kevin Swindon, who did, for the most part, a terrific job. Vincent Brown makes the stop as the Dolphins keep the football on the ground and keep the clock rolling, and we're inside 30. But the clock now stops with 27 seconds to go. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Tommy Roy. The coordinating producer of the NFL on NBC is John Faratzis. Today's telecast was produced by Bill Bonnell, directed by Bucky Ace Gunts. NFL Live produced by Ricky Diamond, and NFL Live directed by John Gilmartin. And for Don Shula and Gary Stevens and company, a solid victory on the road, which will take the Dolphins to 6-2 at midseason, secure in the lead in the AFC East. Folks in Buffalo and Indianapolis had to be hoping for a New England victory today. They didn't get it. Leroy Thompson on first down takes the pass from Zolak, gets to the 50. Grant Boyer makes the stop for Miami. Pats will hurry it up a little bit, see if they can get one more shot.
But they have 3 timeouts left. Not using any.
Zolak throws to empty spaces down the middle. Ray Crittenden was the intended receiver of record. And Drew Bledsoe has the baseball cap on, and nasty memories to take home from this one.
Well, they discussed how this was really a pivotal game, and it's turned out to be just that. Don Shula has to be extremely happy with the way his team has played. No longer completely dependent upon Marino to save every game for him.
All right, we're going to join the game between the Houston Oilers and the Los Angeles Raiders as soon as this clock reaches 0, and it does. So the Miami Dolphins have beaten the New England Patriots 23-3. Let's now join Dan Hicks and Bob Golick.